So we are good to go.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this unique event known as the FICCI Startup Accelerator Series, which is being held today in collaboration with the Startup Mentor Board. And the idea behind this was, of course, to see how the cause of startups in the community system in India could be furthered with the support of FICCI. And what we wish to do at the end is not only to guide and mentor and encourage the startups in our own way, but also to see that how they fit into a larger collaborative spirit within the travel ecosystem. Because the time of living in isolation is, we all know, everywhere is gone. So obviously the idea is to collaborate with the universe of travel. So on that, we have a jury here, which I would quickly like to introduce, starting with Patrick Richard. Patrick is based in UK. He's a global travel industry executive with over 34 years track record at C-suite and board levels in various companies. So Patrick, welcome. Then we have Arjun. Then we have Arjun Seth. Arjun is himself a second-generation travel entrepreneur from the Pearl Group, who set up a travel technology-driven firm known as Sasti Ticket, which he later was acquired by Ebix Cash. So Arjun himself, young he is, but he drives a very hard bargain and is an excellent entrepreneur. So welcome, Arjun. Pankaj Tripathi, he again started off, besides being very passionate about startup ecosystem, somebody's volume is himself is a startup where he set up Vernost group of companies, which is very well known in the travel and technology and loyalty space. So welcome, Pankaj. Bharti, Pankaj, you're on mute. Welcome, Pankaj. Bharti Man, pretty passionate that she is in the digital space, has been evangelizing the cause of SAP, and now continues to do that at Capgemini, where she moves in soon. And she's a vice president and she heads the APAC for them. So welcome, Bharti. She is, of course, part of the Startup Mentor Board. Then we have another very well-known startup who has now made a global empire, literally, in RateGain, Bhanu Chopra. He's a founder and chairman of RateGain. So welcome, Bhanu.
Thank you, Ashish.
Right. So that's the jury. And what we had is, just to give you a summary to all the startup, we had total of 35 applications we received during the period which was identified on the website, based on the criteria which were given on the website. 4 of those 35 actually came in from outside the country. So obviously not in the gambit of our purview today, because we are only addressing startups within the Indian territory. 7 of these 35 did not meet the criteria which were laid down on the website. So they had to be set aside. But it does not mean that they have reasons to be disappointed, because I think they can reboot and reset themselves again. That's the opinion I have on the 7. So we had 24, out of which 10 were finally selected for pitching. Again, on the remaining 14, having looked at some of them, I have to say that none of them have reasons to be disappointed in not making the last 10, because all of them in some manner or the other is thinking creative, is thinking a way forward. And as somebody said to me, and somebody from an existing travel enterprise, he said, look, I asked him, what's the definition of startup? And he said, look, every startup is a state of mind. I'm a startup every day. And, you know, I have to think on my feet. I have to be innovative every day. And that's where the world has come to. So therefore, my message to the 14 who did not come in is that you will continue, and all of us will continue to stay startup while we are hitting a very black swan moment, as we call it in this. So welcome. And what we will do, we have a criteria which has been automated. There is a vision and idea, including problem solved, which gives you 30% weighted average. There is product and technology, which gives another 30%. There is the execution capability and plan, which gives 20%. And there is the judgment of your team, which gives another 20% to be able to arrive at 100. Now, these have been totally automated. Each of the jury have access to a dashboard where they will rate you live, and it will all stack up as a weighted average. The jury will, of course, re-meet at 4:45 for 15-20 minutes. And in case any of them want to relook at what they have done on the weighted average, they would have a manual action to override or increase. And the first three will be announced after the next panel, which is on success stories of startup, etc. So that we will, of course, declare for them to stay back and be certified in the top three, 1, 2, 3. So without further preambles, let's start the slot. And just to let you know, you have exactly 10 minutes to make a pitch to the jury. There will be a buzzer which will go off in probably 9 minutes. That means you'll have a minute left after the 10 to remind you to wrap yourself up. And please do stay in that 10-minute slot, because we are behind time on the next session anyway, right? So we've requested them to put it back by 15 minutes. And then we have a 5 minutes of the jury Q&A, which any of the jury member, of course, is free to ask as we go along. So over to book by slot. Who's the first on my list? Please introduce yourself and go on by name.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anubhav. I'm the co-founder and CEO of bookbyslot.com. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and present what Book by Slot is and why we were in.
Anubhav, can we do something about your volume?
Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, that seems better, yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and present Book by Slot. Firstly, we'd like to introduce why we started Book by Slot, what is the vision behind Book by Slot. So I'm just going to go ahead and share the screen so that I can start the presentation. So hi, Book by Slot is an online travel hospitality startup with a vision of booking hotels for short stay. So we started Book by Slot with a vision of giving flexibility and uniqueness to travelers who can go ahead and book hotels on the go, same like you book Uber cabs on the go. When I was working in Dubai back in 2013-14, as a corporate traveler, we always used to experience some kind of problem wherein we used to go ahead and travel for corporate trips and used to book hotels. There was no option for booking hotels for short stay, micro stays. So we end up always booking a full day stay, wherein we were not staying in the hotel for more than 6 hours. That made me realize that this is could be a bigger problem. And that is when I started to go ahead and speak to a lot of corporate friends of mine. And eventually 94% people said that we face this problem every given now and then. And on a vacation to India, I started to dig deep into the problem with Neha. She's my co-founder, and came to know that this is a global problem, what we can experience. That is when I took a leap of faith, left my corporate job in Dubai, and came back to India in 2017 and started Book by Slot. So Book by Slot is a travel technology platform for booking hotels for short stay. We are currently live in about 8 cities in India, majorly with 1,350 hotels. The problem is when a traveler is traveling, he tends to go ahead and book short stay for layovers. But due to current limitations in the system and the way technology works at OTAs and travel hospitality platforms, they end up booking a whole day, or they do not have an adequate option because of the check-in, check-out time what hotels currently have. That is when we decided to go ahead and solve this particular problem. Price is also an important concern when travelers are booking hotels. So Book by Slot help travelers to reduce and automate their travel cost and save up to 70% of the hotel booking tariff. Book by Slot allows 3 slots. That is a 4-hour slot, 8-hour slot, and an 11-hour slot. That brings your travel fare of the hotels down to about 70% of the hotel booking tariff. Currently, we have 1,350 hotels, what we have on our platform. Um, currently we have 10,000 plus signed up users, and 4,000 users have already used Book by Slot in major cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. Due to the current pandemic, our model will be expected to boom more because occupancy levels are down to 30% right now, which was about 65, 70% before the pandemic. We give a travel technology platform that's an app and a web-based platform for travelers. So it helps us, them saving money for travelers, make more money for the hotels, which is a necessity right now in terms of the current pandemic, what they currently have. So increase their ARR by selling their unused inventory, which is about 70% right now after the pandemic. And the flexibility. So we give dynamic check-in, check-out at the back end to the travelers. So they are able to go ahead and decide their own check-in and check-out time. So there is no standard 2 p.m. check-in and no standard 12 noon check-outs. We also developing a single API model, which can be a game changer for hospitality. That basically allows travelers to go ahead and do a single click booking for day use hotels, cabs, bus, and amenities as a service. This would be a B2B model, which can be used by hotels, by OTAs, and hospitality companies. As far as our revenue growth is concerned, we've done about $93,000 in gross booking value in past 2 years, which has been on the slow side due to the pandemic since March, but we are speeding up. Currently, we have 4,000 customers who've used Book by Slot and actively use the platform and done bookings. Our customer acquisition costs are basically gone to zero, so we're not burning any cash at $4 per customer before, which we used to acquire customers on. We've got 1,350 hotels, which has gone 3x from 500 hotels since March 2020. So we've got all major chains on board, like the Park Hotels, Lemon Tree, ITC, Welcome Chain, all these hotels, Tribo Hotels in the budget segment. We've got all these hotels live on the platform. If I talk about the market size of hospitality and hotels in India, online plus offline is a huge opportunity, which is about $22 billion if you combine offline and online bookings both. 39% to travelers, as the HVS report says, that they do not go ahead and stay in the hotel for the whole day. So they only stay for a short duration of time, which is about 4 to 8 hours, which is about an $8 billion market. And if we capture about 8% of the serviceable market in next 4 years, we can do about $650 million in revenue. Current markets, what we currently looking at, we are in all major metros like New Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, for corporate and transits. We started a pilot in New Delhi for medical tourism for people who are coming for small surgeries and they need hotels after the surgery. So that was going on fine till COVID came. And a pilgrim model wherein people who are going for pilgrim destinations, we started a pilot in Katra and Shirdi. So some of the stats on passenger traffic at airports, New Delhi has about 47 million people who go out and transit from the airport. Mumbai has about 27 million and Bangalore 23 million. So these all basically state that how bigger an opportunity is for us to go ahead and convert this into day use hotels, people who are looking to book hotels after their flight or between their transit stays. Current markets is, as far as railway stations are concerned, New Delhi used to cater about 850,000 people, passengers a day. Bombay was 1 million a day. So all this aggregates to 72 million people coming to major railway stations in 1 year. Some of the backpacker travel cities, which we've explored the model as per the study by Zostel, another platform for booking hotel stays, is that New Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, and Jaipur are considered to be the prime cities wherein travelers go ahead and transit through backpacks. So if we can cater to these particular markets, we've got a huge opportunity for people transiting from major metros. Average occupancy levels are what we discussed. This was about 65% before the COVID impact. Now it's gone to 30%. 30% is the occupancy. So 70% rooms are not sold. And it's a massive, massive loss for the hotels. It is more than a $6 billion opportunity which is lost. How do we acquire users? So currently we did some excellent partnerships. We went live on the Paytm app for Android and iOS. So our traffic jumped 10x. We did the same replication with PhonePe for the BookBuy app. So we live on both the platforms. Our traffic is increased a great deal since pandemic. We did both these integrations. We also integrating with GeoStore. So we'll be probably the first transactional app on GeoStore with Reliance on the hotel booking model. So right now they have only apps which are incurring revenues and making revenues through ad streams. But we'll be the first transactional app wherein you can do a hotel booking and do revenues on booking value. We acquire users through SEO, so we do a lot of SEO and search marketing optimization, and also acquire customers through our corporate channels. How do we create partnership effects? So as I mentioned, we've done integration with Paytm. We are live on Freecharge also, and we are speaking to other companies. So it was very interesting conversation. I came to meet a friend of mine who's heading Uber for business in India. He's a junior at school. So he gave me the Uber APIs for integrating Book by Slot on Uber platform and also for the single API model, which we're currently working on. Our business model, we get 10 to 25% commission on hotel bookings on every transaction which we make. Average is about 15%. Premium hotel chains tend to give less commission, but budget chains do give more commission. So the average is about 15% commission. We also plan to go ahead and charge a convenience fee in future once we have substantial user base, which will be around 3% of the booking value. Current GMV stands about $93,000 in past 2 years, and we're looking at average ARR of say $100,000 going next year with $3 million in revenue in next 18 months. Our supplier strategy. So we within the pandemic, I signed up Lemon Tree, iBase, Red Fox, all these chains, going ahead and extensively talking to them to showcase the opportunity post-pandemic that Book by Slot, slot hotel booking model could be a game changer because the occupancy levels have fallen down in the hotels and revenue has gone for a toss. So we've also trying to make a supplier dashboard for rate parity so that all the hotels have the same kind of rate, what is very necessary. And our hotels can go live in 5 minutes. So we've got an extranet, which is a total end-to-end technology platform. It takes about 5 minutes for a hotel to go ahead and push in the rates, the inventory, and go live.
Right. So are you done, Anubhav?
Yeah, I'm just about done.
Yeah.
So currently, our competition, if we talk about, we are having Meestay is one of the competitors. They've raised about $500,000 till now. We're competing with them. Our competitive advantage, I already mentioned that it's a single API model, which we are currently doing. Our financial ask, we're looking for a seed round of $300,000, which will sail us through for next 18 months. And we're going to primarily use the funds for technology and marketing, which is about 65%. Thank you so much. And our team is Anubhav and Neha, and Gaurav is the CTO. He's based in the US, Silicon Valley. Thank you very much.
Right, jury questions?
Yeah, so I had one question, Anubhav.
Sure.
So the market which you're trying to disrupt, you threw some numbers. Are those numbers quantified, or it's general hotel industry numbers which you're throwing up?
When we say qualified in terms of, if I may ask
you. You said some numbers, this day use spaces which you're trying to do some 650 million or 22 billion.
That's a market size pan India. So if we take about 8% of the market size pan India, that's the number we're coming into.
Okay. And when you say you're integrating or you're onboarding Lemon Tree and other hotels, how are you integrating with them?
So Lemon Tree, we've already onboarded. So all the hotels are live on the platform. So we give them extranet, they onboard their rates, and they go live. Right now, there is not a possibility wherein we can go ahead and have dynamic pricing on slots because it's static pricing, because there is no channel manager or PMS which is there for dynamic pricing. And that's the reason we decided to speak to Oracle Opera, which is the major PMS in India, which constitutes about 85% of the PMS market. So what we're trying to do is to gain a niche in the market so that bigger players have a challenge replicating it. we're trying to do an exclusivity with Oracle Opera, wherein they'll give us exclusive rights for the day use. So they make one more inventory of day use in their PMS system, and we get linked with the PMS of the hotels directly, end to end. So book by slot, a booking goes, it directly flows into the PMS.
So why only Oracle Opera?
Oracle Opera is a major one. So 85% of the premium hotel chains use Oracle Opera. So we've got other ones as well, but we tried to go ahead and capture the bigger one, right? So that gives us 80% of the hotels which are already using Oracle Opera. So all these guys, the Lemon Tree, if you talk about bigger chains like the ITC, all use Oracle Opera. And I've spoken to them personally.
So those are all premium chains. Is that the only target which you have, or you have the,
Budget
the other?
chains anyways are not using channel managers. So what we're trying to do, that is the reason we're trying to build a single API model so that we can source that to budget hotels so that they can go ahead and use this particular model and increase their revenue. So single API, what it'll do, it'll be a custom code plug and play, a single code on which you can book hotels, day use, amenities as a service, which becomes critical in times of pandemic, right? So it exactly tells you the quantify the count which is there in restaurants, and for bigger chains, if you talk about at the poolside or in cafe, and at the same time, amenities as a service, which goes ahead, and I already mentioned that if you want to book a table, if you want to book a poolside, all this will be combined with the cab, which is the Uber. So one robust code plug and play amalgamated into one single API.
Okay. One more question, Anubhav.
Sure.
You, Neha, and Rohit, all three of you are right now full-time, or is it
Gaurav,
only
Gaurav is the third co-founder. Yes.
All three of you are doing this full-time right now,
All
or?
full-time. Yeah, we've been doing full-time for, me and Neha doing full-time for 3 years, and Gaurav recently quit his job at Apple. He's a childhood friend of mine. He's based in the US, in the Silicon Valley. So he's planning to migrate back to India, so he's joined me as a CTO.
Thank you, Anubhav. That's all from me, Ashish.
So how big is your overall team size, Anubhav?
We are 3 co-founders, and we've got about 3 more people, 6 people.
3 more people.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your customer acquisition costs? Do you have any breakup of them?
Ma'am, we were spending about $4 per customer before COVID, but right now we're not spending. We're spending zero marketing dollars to acquire customers. So what I thought of, rather than burning money on Google ads and stuff, which we already tried, and we burned quite a bit of capital on that, but it didn't give us that kind of results. So I thought of doing partnerships, and these partnerships really help. So this is one-time integration, tech integration, like giants like Paytm, PhonePe, and Jio. You integrate once, it takes about 2 months time. And then you get access to their entire customer base, which is about 500 million Paytm users, 217 odd million PhonePe users, and 300 million Jio users. So you organically, everybody who's coming to that particular platform has access to Book by Slot app.
Okay.
So Anubhav, do you see dynamic pricing being a reality soon?
Absolutely, sir, because that's what I've been speaking to you all this while, right? So currently all the hotels on day use are giving static pricing. But
no, is it how soon can you think you might venture into that model?
I am already talking to hotels. So that is the reason we are trying to amalgamate that particular API so that hotels can, directly go ahead and change pricing on a single click. So if for example, if there are 100 hotels in Lemon Tree, they basically don't have to go ahead and, individually go ahead and change. That API will work for all of them.
Yeah, so somebody on this meeting room, Bhanu can solve that problem for you, Anubhav.
Right. So I've spoken to RateGain people in the past, and would definitely like to work with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Anubhav, lastly, I'll say dynamic pricing is important because a lot of people are walk-ins. They walk out of a train station just to say, I need a room for 4 hours.
Right, sir.
Right. So that is important because then you can time it. And also on holidays, I mean, I have a friend who owns a small property in Missouri, and he says, I refuse to load the inventory anywhere because I'll wait for the right guy at the right time to walk in to charge what I want to charge.
Exactly, right. So there are other platforms which are there, like MI Stay in Bangalore is a competitor. They also do not have dynamic pricing right now. Even competitors in Europe, when I was there last year, like Buy Hours and Day Use, both of them are $100 million companies, right? Even they do not have dynamic pricing till now. They're working straight
Push
on
for it.
Yeah, push for it. So that is what we're trying to do, and build this API so that it'll be a robust API, and not only for day use hotels, but we can amalgamate with cab and bus for the end traveler as well.
Right. Push for it, because that would be the game changer, I think. Jury, are we ready to move on to the next?
I have one question for Anubhav.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anubhav, have you built a startup before? And if so, what worked and what didn't work?
So I did a startup before. It failed. So we were trying to go ahead and amalgamate a dating feature, pretty much like Facebook. So Facebook with a dating feature, that's what's called Xanadu.com. It was built in 2015. It failed because of lack of resources, lack of capital, and we were not able to, build that kind of robust infrastructure. But the good thing was, 4 years down the line, Facebook is launching the same feature. It's like replica of what we thought 4 years back. So that is one thing which was really gratifying.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Anubhav. Appreciate
so
you
much.
coming in and taking the time. Good luck. And let's move on to daycation.
Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you. Introduce yourself, Javed, and let's move on.
Yes. Yeah. So my name is Javed Habib. I am from Daycation, and I have my team members, my co-founder, Mr. Deepak, and Salman. So I would like to thank you all for this opportunity. Yeah. And I would just be now sharing my screen. One second. Do I have permission to share screen? Because
Yes, you do. You're the co-host.
so sorry, it says my browser is preventing access. Salman, will you be able to share, please?
Okay. Can you please give me the co-hosting rights and immediately share the screen?
Yeah, Rajkumar, please make him co-host.
Sorry for the slight delay. My apologies.
No issues.
So quickly about us, Deepak, Salman, and myself, we have been associated with the travel industry for almost about 15 to 20 years on an average, the years between us. And we have seen how the industry has grown. We've seen how the challenges, we've seen the major challenges that hotels face in terms of inventory, leftover inventory. And we've always tried to see how, we could create unique marketing tools to be able to sell this excess inventory of hotels. In the past, we have used the corporate route to sell this inventory, and we've seen that there's been a major demand for not only room inventory but also non-room inventory, and that is where we got thinking, and we thought of this idea, and which came in the form of Daycation. So very quickly, we've been talking to hotels, and
We have given the rights
they've
to
always had
Salman. Salman has been given the rights.
Salman. Perfect. Salman, can you start, please? Quickly.
Yeah. Is the screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So Anubhav earlier anyways emphasized on the stats in terms of, what hotel inventories have been facing, hotels have been facing problem in terms of, room inventories and non-room inventories. And this is something that we focused on. We saw a very clear opportunity here. And we said that if we could, create some way, a platform which could get this available to consumers, then that would really be a big hit with them. what we have seen is that with hotels, they don't really have a very clear, as in, especially during this pandemic, we have seen that this situation has worsened. So, and it will definitely take a year or so for it to get back to normal. And consumers are looking for options. They are looking for ways, where they can have a short day break, a getaway, and they definitely need to de-stress. They need to feel motivated, and this is their one way of being able to refresh, and able to create some good memories. So that is where we saw that this opportunity lies, where we could definitely get into. Salman, can you scroll?
Yeah.
Yes. Currently, what we are seeing is with hotels, what they do in terms of getting their inventory to consumers is either their own website or OTAs. But this is very limited, and it's not very. The products are not very defined. Their hotel sales teams are focused on their banquet sales. So that's again very difficult. And considering the pandemic, the new norms with social distancing and everything else being in place, they couldn't really look at too much of business being generated there. They're tied up with a lot of coupon sites and with food delivery platforms, but that again focus only on F&B, and that too highly discounted F&B, which somehow I think premium hotels definitely would want to move away from. So currently, what we can see is the approach for hotels is very fragmented, and it's not really very cohesive in that sense. This is the solution that we've created. It's called Daycation, which is always on activities. What we are doing is we are creating a first of its kind repository of all unsold room inventory and day use room inventory, and we are trying to create it as a product for consumers. Keeping in mind their needs, their expectations, what we've done is we have created a great UI. We have integrated it with an AI, and we have been able to create the right type of product that a consumer would be looking for if they are looking to, have, let's say, a short break, or if they are looking to even have, let's say, a small family or a friends get together. Why a hotel environment? Because it's professionally managed. That way, they can be absolutely in sync with the new norms, and everything else also can be taken care of. So hygienic, uh, maintaining the social distance, and ensuring safety of family and friends. So this is basically the product and our value proposition. What we are saying is that we productize this hotel room and non-room inventory, and we create these products, so which can then be pitched to the consumers. We are talking about creating, let's say, something as simple as a brunch, and a brunch package, or maybe a brunch with a swim, a brunch with a day stay and spa, or maybe a brunch and a health club use. So these are the kind of products that we are trying to create using everything available at the hotel's disposal. This is our target audience and our consumer insight. So we are looking at a very defined consumer, and we are having very defined drivers in our pitch to ensure that the platform is a means to their end. You could be a family that's looking for a very short day trip because you want to get away from the humdrum of daily life, and you don't want to travel too far. You don't want to travel by a public transport. So the best way could be a hotel which is very accessible to you. You go there with your family, you stay for a day, you enjoy, you have a good meal, you use the hotel facilities, and that's what completes your experience. It could be a smaller group of friends. We are also looking to target corporates with smaller group sizes, so we are ensuring the social distancing norms are taken care of. We are looking at interest-based groups, so we have our alliance partners across India, globally as well, and that way we'll be able to cater to all of these people. The tech platform, this is definitely the crux of what all we are offering. So we've got a very ready platform. We've built it on the PHP, MySQL, and Magento framework. So we've got all our in and out APIs ready. This is important because we are trying to integrate with hotel managers and create a specific inventory for the products that we just spoke about. So where you just had earlier just a deluxe or a standard and a suite room, you probably will be having a room with swimming, you'll be having a room with health club access, a room with brunch. These kind of combinations would be created. So we have our in APIs which will service these products ready on our platform, and our out APIs integrating with bigger names like Ease Rooms, so that way we'll be able to make available these products across major partnership platforms as well. So you can have a look at this. You can see that we are working towards ensuring that the UI UX is as intuitive as possible. AI assisted, somebody can come on the platform, just quickly type in a few keywords and know exactly what they are looking for and be able to book it. So right from the getting onto the website to checkout, it shouldn't take them anywhere more than 8 to 10 minutes. So our plans, we had thought of this. It's been almost about a year back, and we were in talks with a lot of hotels. Hotels were excited. They wanted to create some kind of a product, where their non-room inventories are also managed and sold well. And but suddenly the pandemic hit, and then we had to slow down in terms of launching the product. But now with things getting back to normal, we are definitely looking to launch soon. These are a few revenue figures that we're talking about. My co-founder, Mr. Deepak, would talk about this in a little more detail.
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen. Just to take you ahead from where Javed has left, as what Javed had said, that we are looking ahead with the product itself is going to be a vacation wherein we are going to use the other non-rooms activities bundled with a short stay of 4 to 5 hours, because this is the need of the hour, looking at the pandemic situation. And we see a lot of scalability because of our past experience of our reward port activities, travel port activities, and TripXO. Our reward port, where we cater around 2,000 corporates, out of which all Fortune 500 companies are part of our clientele list, wherein we do take care about their employees and dealer retail network, loyalty and rewards. And we see this as one of the key aspects henceforth, not just because of the pandemic situation where there are certain restrictions and the situation is not, but we was thinking about since last 1.5 years that this could be the next revolution in hotel industry, wherein people could use a swimming pool, health club, gym, lunch, or dinner, and couple of hours, because looking at the room inventory available, which is unsold, which is not less than 20% in normal circumstances. So this is, I mean, looking at that, we are planning that if hoteliers, we already started negotiating and we are getting good deals from them. And with our past experience of reward and loyalty business, we see this could be a game changer as far as the scalability of this particular concept is concerned. But there is a huge demand. We have been talking to these all corporates, who's who in the Indian industry, and they was been asking for this particular product, but unfortunately we was not able to cater to that. And then slowly we thought that this is the product which we intend to launch. And we saw this as an opportunity in pandemic. And then we have worked on that and we have decided that we will be launching this. And we have done a soft launch on our another platform, which is called TripXO. TripXO is basically online marketplace for things to do and attractions across the globe. We have a huge traffic on that. We are doing good numbers there. And the scalability, these are the figures which you are seeing on the screens are just what we expect without spending any money for a customer acquisition with the present, the network what we have. The present network we have around a core team of 3 people. There are around 20 odd people, those who are on straight. those who are sales guys meeting these corporates and looking at this infrastructure and the capabilities and the product itself, we see that this is a great potential in this particular concept, that is education. If me as a customer, if I get an opportunity to get something, a swimming pool, use of swimming pool at a 5-star with a branch, and maybe a couple of hours stay at a throwaway price like 1,500, we will be excited, and that is what we got a feedback from our existing clients. But at the end of the day, we are looking not only as a corporate, as a client, we want this to be a B2C, where people are looking for something like that. And unfortunately, this kind of product was not there in the market. This is the first time, if I'm not wrong, with whatever little experience, that this is the first time somebody is launching a vacation where you have an opportunity to select either of the product, whatever you suits to your pocket and whatever you are comfortable with the number of hours. And basically, we will be doing this at all city 5-star, 4-star hotels, where people are aspirational value, like the guy who had never gone to the 5-star, he will get an opportunity, and there are aspirational, India is an
Deepak,
aspirational.
let's move on.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Time is up. Yeah, let's go to questions, Deepak.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Deepak, one question. How is it different than one-day picnic, which is a classic thing?
There's the difference between what we are thinking about one-day picnic and this is that one-day picnic, you don't get normally the room. Then you have to, the 5-star or 4-star category hotels in cities, they don't have this opportunities to offer to the customers, and customers are looking for this.
No, but one-day picnics, I mean, there are various spots and various hotels used to give. I mean, they still give. Just trying to understand, is it a old wine in new bottle, which is picnic to a vacation? Is that the thought? And you have a customer you want to exploit too, or anything else?
No, absolutely, this is something else. We are looking something where people are going to. The picnics are not normally, not within the cities. Normally, people go for 1 hour, couple of hours drive from the city. Here, we are looking something which people can use it within 3-4 hours. They don't have to pre-plan. They decide, and they on a one click they can decide that okay, next let's go to have lunch and take the benefit of swimming pool or a gym or sauna, and if time permits, let's have a nap also in the afternoon. And the main things which is going to be differentiator between this is that this product will be not like what traditional picnics are. We are thinking about, not thinking about, we have already decided that it will be a 4-star or 5-star hotels where this things will be sold. The vacation will be sold, all products will be sold, concentrating on these properties.
Yeah, but that is today. Looking at pandemic, there is a lot of perishable inventory in the properties available, and items which can be given. But tomorrow, when the pandemic is over, the inventories will be gone. So will that mean your business is down and zero?
No, actually, if you look at, we are not thinking about selling the room nights out there. Very precisely.
No, I'm not talking room nights right now. If you're giving swimming pool or you're giving a gym,
whatever. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
So now there's everything inside the property is perishable, and the properties want to generate. So it might get some traffic, but once the pandemic is over, does that mean the vacation is also over? Is that the thought?
No, absolutely not. We see a lot of scalability in this because there is a demand in corporate world. People want to reward their employees, dealer, retailer, something of this kind of product as well, and which was there on our mind for long because the need was there, but we was not able to come up with the product. But now we thought this is the right time to launch and get a leap.
Deepak, what Pankaj is probably trying to say is your dependency on the hotel taking this tariff measure in the longer run as a given. Because we've all known that hotels have stayed with 12 noon check-in, 12 noon check-out, and they've been pretty rigid. Whether you stay for 5 hours or 2, you go to. Now, tomorrow, 2 years down the line, hotels don't need you. What happens? is the point, hard-hitting point.
No, if you ask me, with whatever little bit experience and whatever we had interaction, we have spoken to the chain of hotels, and they are welcome this idea because they have this room nights available throughout. This very rare situation where it's a big conference or something or some event going, then there is an occupancy issue.
So you're saying therefore this model is here to stay, pandemic or
it's
no
absolutely absolute. We have thought of launching it this because this is the right time to kick off, because we are getting the best possible costings is concerned.
Got it. Jury, any more questions? Patrick?
Yeah, Deepak, hi.
Hi.
How many properties do you currently have signed up?
Sorry, sir?
How many properties, hotel properties do you
we have signed up around 1,500 hotels within India.
Okay. And your target, and just contrasting you to the previous speaker, your target is 15,000 with a commission level of 20 to 30%.
Yes.
Whereas the previous speaker was looking at an average of 15%.
Yeah.
Which is about half what you're looking at. Again, to Pankaj and Ashish's point, with that level of commission, will the hotels still stay loyal to you when the environment changes?
To answer your query, we are sitting on a gold mine as far as the customers are concerned. We have a prepaid customers with us. We have a prepaid customers, so we can guarantee the hotels after saying the first couple of months response, and we will be guaranteeing them a certain business. We'll be a consolidator.
So can I put it this way? 1 year from now, if a hotel X says buy the whole year's inventory, would you be able to put your money where your mouth is?
If you ask me, we at the end of the day, we are not going to buy the inventories.
No, when you say that, you say you guarantee me minimum 100-day vacations in a year.
Yeah, we will 100% leave.
So you have that confidence.
Yeah, because if you ask me, I never wanted to go back to that, but then we had this product, and we have served around 100 hotels, giving them an off-season sale of not less than 700 room nights average to east, west, north of India. We had a product of 2 nights, 3 days, which we used to sell it in corporates to use as a giveaway. So we have already, the hoteliers knows, hotelier knows that
your previous company's experience of
yeah, because this is the accepted model 20 years back.
Reward program.
Yes, reward program, and we were sitting on a gold mine in the sense when I'm saying gold mine, we have a customer, ready customer with us.
So Deepak, essentially you already have some business running. This is another division which you're creating, which will actually help both the businesses grow.
No, actually, we within our organization we have started 3 companies. These all 3 companies have been startup companies and been backed by the founders or the company, the parent company. We have a culture that people see that the potential is there. So our VC funders and the management, the founders, they encourage people to take up this as a project itself. And with the expertise and the platform, they give a free hand to launch a product. And that is how we have taken this as one of the key aspects with our past experience. And we see that huge potential out there.
Which VC have you worked in the past?
I mean, I don't know exactly. The founder must be knowing, but then there are 2 gentlemen, so I don't know the corporate's name out here. But it's the Mumbai-based.
It's Shubham Ventures.
One is Shubham. Yeah, Shubham Ventures. Sorry.
What is a private person who is backing the main parent company? Yeah.
Which ventures you mentioned, Salman?
Shubham.
Shubham Ventures.
Rakesh Katodia. He has invested into, I think, Sterling holidays as well.
And he was happy with PHP and Magento as well, you're saying?
Sorry?
And he was happy with PHP and Magento as well as a technology stack?
Yes.
Good. And nothing more, Ashish.
Okay.
Any
Right.
more questions, sir?
I think we are done. Thank you for being there today, Deepak.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Flyze,
Thank you.
our airport app. Flyze, Deepak,
Yeah. Hello, sir.
you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Louder. Make it louder, your audio. And go on.
Am I audible?
Yeah, that's better. Go on, please.
Okay, let me just. Okay, so hello everyone. Myself, Deepak Meena. I am the CEO and co-founder of Flyzy. So kindly just allow me to share my screen. 1 second. Are you able to see the screen? Hello.
Yes, yes, we can.
1 second. 1 second. There's some loading. I guess there's some network problem because it's loading. So yeah, like let me just brief you before like just jumping to what Flyzy is. Let me just brief you how we started Flyzy, like why we started Flyzy. So yeah, so as the name suggests, like the Flyzy is related to the like air travel industry, is related to the aviation industry, and the reason why we started Flyzy was not like I would say intentional thing, like we never planned to enter in the aviation industry, but it was all based on experience. So let me just share a story with all of you. What happened basically when like last year when I was traveling to USA for a conference. So my flight was from Delhi to Beijing, like China, and then after to New York. So and there were airlines, two different airlines. The first was the Air China, and then it was I guess it was JetBlue. So yeah, so what happened basically, like somehow I reached like to Beijing, and it was my first international travel, and that was to China. And so I was very much excited, and there was a lot of things, stress going on inside my mind. But every time what happens, the flight gets delayed. But unfortunately, in my case, the flight from Beijing to New York got preponed, and I missed my flight. Like, so I was there at the Beijing airport, and I was not aware, okay, whether the flight has, or I have already missed the flight. So somehow I managed to like what I would say, got the temporary visa in China. And on that experience which I had over there, I explored the whole Beijing airport for around 18 hours. I stayed at the airport, and I was just exploring each and every corner of the airport out of just curiosity why Indian airports are not like that. So why, like, there's a huge difference between the capital airport, like the Delhi airport, and the Beijing airport. So just to explore this thing, I was just roaming here and there at the airport. And fortunately, like I got a new flight and I reached New York. But again, my luck was like that, like I lost my baggage at the New York airport. And over there again, I spent around 10 hours at the airport in search of my baggage, and I just explored the airport and figure again out of curiosity what exactly makes this airport so beautiful, so big, and all this stuff. So from that experience which I had over there, I thought like there was a messed up, and the whole journey, which was for around like 2 days, was so much stressful that the conference which I had in New York was not, it didn't went well. And it was all because what I feel like, I had a lot of stress because I was the only one who was traveling. I was traveling alone, and it was my first international tour. So I thought, I I'm not only guy who faced this problem. There might be a like lot of people who would have faced this problem and might face this problem in the future. So there should be something like I should do, and I should try to explore. So from that, just a curious, like there's a curious mind, I came back to India, and I had no idea like what aviation industry is, what travel industry is. But out of just curiosity, I joined one of the travel agency based. I'm from Gujarat, so I just joined the travel agencies in Gujarat as a part time. And from my college, I started working with them, and I figured out, okay, the most when it comes to air travel, like the flying, the most stressful part for the passenger is the day of travel, like the day when the passenger travels, when the flight is there. So I figured out that, and starting from the, I would say, the start of the journey, like what to, like there are a lot of questions which goes into the mind of a passenger: what to pack, what not to pack, what exactly you can carry, what you can't carry, what will happen if the baggage, like the weight exceeds the limit. So even like the journey has not been started, just at the time of packing, the passenger is flooded with the questions, and he or she needs to find the answers of all of this, and that's what I have experienced. And here, like this is not, I would say, just the end. After there are a lot of other questions, like one second. Hello. There, I guess there's some problem there because I'm not able to, my PPT is not working. So let me just verbally speak on that. So yeah, the other problems with the passengers faces is like when to leave for the airport, like at what time, what is the convenient time to leave for the airport, what would be the traffic. The passenger searches on Google what are the traffic status, and there's a lot of mess up and the stress which is there inside the passenger's mind. And in case the passenger wants to take his own vehicle at the airport, but he is not aware of the parking charges, he's not aware, okay, whether the parking slot will be available or not. Again, like tsunami of questions is flooded inside the mind. And similarly, like somehow like the passenger find the answer of all this question, and when the passenger reaches at the airport, he is flooded with another set of, like another tsunami of questions, which is what will happen if the flight is delayed, what will happen when the, if the like boarding pass, the boarding gate is changed. So all this, what I would say, like all these questions and all these things makes the whole experience, the journey very much stressful. And yeah, it ruin, it not only like affects the day of travel, but it also affects the after travel thing. So based we analyzed all this question, and I thought, well, what could be the best possible manner, like what could be the best possible solution which can solve this uh, questions, or which can solve the problems. So what we did, we came up with the solution. And today when the passenger travels, almost 90% of the passengers have their smartphone. So what we thought, we started developing mobile based software solutions. The reason why mobile based software solution is the one I just mentioned a few minutes ago, like almost all passenger has the, like the smartphone with them. And the second thing, it's way more cheaper to make a mobile based software, like mobile based software, compared to a, like another software, like a standard software. So that was the main reason, like the cost and the feasibility of the technology, and the, I would say, the way and to reach out to the passengers, to give the services to the passengers. So we started building this, and we sort of named, or like our vision is to make the whole air travel space, which stands for the secure, personalized, automated, contactless experience. So this is the solution we came up with. And now to like execute this solution, we build a product which is the Flyzy app. So this is a app, like in one line, if I say, it's a single platform which answers all the problems for the day of travel of the air travel. And right from like online checking, you can do the checking for all the airlines at just a single platform, to booking the parking spot like at the airport, to pre-book the order. You can also pre-book the order at the airport in case you are in a hurry. And airport is nowadays the airports are so big that you don't have the time to explore each and every corner of the airport and figure out, okay, what is the best what is the best option available for you at the airport. So you can just go through the app and search, okay, what is the best thing you will get at the airport, and just pre-book it. So it's a, we developed a like application which is one-stop solution for all the air travel needs. And yeah, so we were developing this solution, and our main focus was to just make the air travel and the journey seamless. But when we started developing, and with the passage of time, and this like the pandemic has been a sort of blessing in disguise for us, because figured out this solution which we are developing not only makes the experience seamless, but it also makes the whole process contactless, and that's the need of the hour which is required in the current, I would say, new normal. So this like so we figured out, okay, the solution we are making is compatible with DGR3 policy. So DGR3 policy is an initiative by the government of India. So it's compatible with that. So we were okay, yeah, that's awesome. So like we don't need to change our solution, it's already compatible with DGR3. And the another thing we realized, okay, the solution we are building, we just started this as a like normal thing, and we started this as a normal mobile, like developing mobile application, but we figured out, okay, the whole is solution is made in India, and that's another advantage we have, like because in India what we have figured out, there's no other app exists, and it gives a solid competitive advantage compared to the foreign apps which are there in the market. And we are like, yeah, so it's like the data privacy is also there, so that's another advantage we have. Now let me just take you to what like Flyzy app looks like. So the first step, like how to use a Flyzy app, is like you can add the trip either manually, or you can just give the access of your email, so that whenever you book a flight you can just add your trip. You can do, as I say, you can do the online checking for all the airlines, and you will be getting a mobile boarding pass on your phone only. You can pre-order the in-flight food or the food or any item at the airport. You can like pre-book or pre-book the like parking slot, and everything you can do at your phone only. So this is what I would say, like the app, what app has advantages. And so right now, like what are the advantages for the airport in this application? So it helps the airport to increase the non-aero revenues, that it gives a common platform for the airport to reach out to the passengers, so which is an ultimate advantage for the airport. And the same sort of advantage to the airport retailers also, like they get a platform to connect with the passengers. And similarly to the airlines, it connects all the major stakeholders of the air travel, of the aviation. Now coming to the business model. So basically, as of now we have three main business models. So one is that we integrate our SDK, the software which we have developed, with the other OTAs and TMCs. And the like we get the second is that we get a sort of commission or and revenue per order from the airport shopping and the airline ancillary. And the third is the airport parking. So these are the main three business models we have right now. So talking about the total addressable like customer size. So our addressable customer size are the passengers who are using the smartphones. So these are the numbers which passengers carry the smartphones. So these are the numbers based on the 2019 stats. And this is our total addressable market size. So like globally, if I talk about, so the revenue per passenger is the maximum is at $1, and India it's around $0.7. Now coming to coming to the competitive analysis. So just like there are around four apps which are there in the market, and all of them are global app, and we have a lot of advantages over them. Now recently we just launched our application, and we got a feature in like more than 100 plus news articles, and it was like Ministry of Education also posted like the Flyzy application has been launched. And if I talk about the go-to-market strategy, so we have been partnering with the airport. So with Chennai Airport, the status, like we are almost 90% done, and simultaneously we will be partnering with the Bangalore.
We need to move on, Deepak.
Okay, the time is up. Okay. So let me just give one more minute. So this is I would say the journey so far. We started in like July 2019, and in March 2020 we raised up first seed funding, and we launched our beta app on just few days before, on 25th of September, and it has been going like very well since then. And this is the founding team, like myself, Deepak Meena, Mr. Archit is the co-founder, and he looks up the marketing stuff, and Mr. Hansraj, he is the CTO and looks up the technical stuff. And this is our, I would say, the advisory board we have. So we have like industry experts with us who are helping us to figure out what exactly the industry needs and how to format our product.
Right.
So yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Sorry for the like.
Right. So jury Q&As.
Hey Deepak, can you just go on the one of the slides which said one app? I'm just keen. I'm just keen to understand the value you're bringing at each stage. Go back.
This?
Yeah, no, you just missed it. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
This.
Yeah, here. I mean, just talk this through a little bit more. You know, so when I reach the airport and airport entry and baggage drop, I'm not clear. What are you really doing? Are you providing information? How are you assisting at each of these steps? Can you just elaborate on maybe the first 3 or 4?
Sure.
And that'll give me a sense.
Sure. So let me just start with the online check-in. So right now, what happens to the checking? So there is an option to add to checking at the airport, but to do the web checking, you need to go to the dedicated website of the airline. But instead of that, the passenger will be able to do the checking on the app itself. And once the checking is done, the boarding pass will be generated. And now the next step is to reach to the airport. So there's an option of either choose the cab or take the own vehicle and park over there. So the passenger can like pre-book the parking slot at the airport and pay the amount and park his or her vehicle over there. And at the airport entry, basically in India, especially what happens at the airport entry, you need to show your ID and the ticket to the security guard who is there at the entry gate. But with this app, you just need to scan the QR code and you will be entered. So there's no interaction with the guard. So you just need to scan the QR code and all the information will be like given to the guard over there. He will just cross check all the information and yeah, you are ready to go. And now the next step is the baggage drop. So as a baggage drop right now, there's what you have to do. You need to go to the counter and give your boarding pass, and the bag drop is done manually. But with this, like all you need to do, just go to the counter, scan the QR code in the boarding pass, and the the whole baggage drop is automated. So there's no interaction with the humans or it's completely self-service. Now going to
I get the gist of it, and also it means that you know there's a much larger ecosystem that you need to have integrations with.
Yeah.
I'm imagining the app is just India focused right now. I mean, have you quantified how many integrations with airlines, airports, all the different touch points that you need? What is the quantum and where are you in terms of integration? So I would imagine these are several hundreds of integrations. How many do you have in place today?
Basically, there are like two main, I would say, integration or partnership we need to do. So one is with the airlines, and the partnership with the airlines comes in the later stage. But at this stage, we need to partner with the airports, particularly with the DCS system of the airport, which is the departure control system, so that we can like enable all this stuff. So we are in talk with this airport, Chennai, Bangalore, and Kochi. So with Chennai, we are almost 90% done. And so because there are 4 stages when you're partnering with the airport. The first is the clearance from the IT department. The second is the clearance from the commercial department. The third is when it comes to the government airport, the clearance from the headquarter, which is in case of Chennai, the Airport Authority of India. And the fourth stage is the approval of the airport director, and we got the clearance from the Airport Authority of India, the headquarters in Delhi. Now we are just waiting for the final approval of the airport director. And in terms of the private airport, so there are 3 stages. There are the 3 stages. The first are the same IT commercial. Then after it goes to the CXO. It can be CO or it can be CIO. So in Bangalore, we are almost at the like final stage of partnering with them. And this app is basically made India focused because Indian aviation market is the most difficult to enter. And if it works in India, it will be working in the like rest of the world, because the secure from the security aspect, Indian airports are very much, I would say, secure, and the security is very much tight over there, because you can't just enter the airport without showing your ID. You need to have a valid ticket. But in case of other airports, it's not like in foreign airports. It's not like that. You can enter the pre like security area without any ticket also. So what we have figured out, if we are like if we do like run this thing in India, then it would be a very much easy task for us to take it global.
Okay. Deepak, can you share the notes or the main points that you had in your discussion with any of your advisors? I mean, you have a spectacular list of advisors. And what is the frequency of your discussions with them? And what were the notes that you have made out of discussions with them?
Okay. So these are these are our advisors. So we frequently discuss with four of our advisors mainly, Mr. Shastri, Mr. Marco, Mr. Manoj, and Mr. Sachin. So in the starting, our approach was to partner with each of the outlet over there at the airport, like going exclusively at the outlet and partnering with them. But what our advisors like, it will take a lot of time. And again, after partnering with the outlet, you need a clearance from the airport. So directly go to the airport. So if you partner with the airport, then automatically all the outlets and all the launches over there will come on board. So that's a like I would say key advice we got from them. And if I especially talk about Mr. Marco and about the international market, so if I talk like the international market and has mainly the high cost carrier airlines from the airline perspective, and Indian market don't have that much high cost carrier. They have low cost carrier, and the high cost carrier airlines, which are the full service airlines, are very much inspired from the what I would say the steps and the partnerships the low cost carriers are doing. So just an example, Mr. Marco was giving that Emirates, which is one of the biggest airline in the world, implemented the paid seat like concept, and it got inspired from the Indigo. So Indigo has is like the seats like XL seat, which has a larger leg space. So similar to that, they inspired from them and they implemented at the Emirates, basically in the domestic market of the Emirates and in the economic sector. So he advised to focus on the low cost carrier first, because the low cost carrier are very much price sensitive. They are like, and they are very much what I would say choosy about the partnership they are doing, like unlike the big airlines. So if you partner with those players, it would be easy for you to partner with the global and the big airlines, as you have
Good.
already justified.
Point taken, Deepak. Let's move on. Any other questions, Uri?
Yes, Deepak, is your product nice to have or is it a must have?
It's a must-have product. The reason is because right now, the whole journey, the passenger journey is very much stressless, and it's not only for the passenger perspective. There's no platform which connects the airport and the airline and the retail outlets at the airport. So everything is disintegrated.
Model for a consumer. How do you make money in this business?
Sorry, I missed the question.
Is this a subscription model that you have for your consumers, or how do you make money from all these services that you want to be giving?
Yeah. So basically, we don't have, it's a free application for the users. So our business model is mainly this free business model we have. So apart from just having an app, what we are doing, we are integrating a software with the ticket booking platforms, where we will be providing all the services to on their platform. Let's say, for example, there's an OTA, and right now the problem with the OTAs, they are just limited to the ticket booking, and there's no use of OTA on the day of travel. So we will be integrating our SDK on their platform, so that not only we are benefited, but also the users of the OTA will be benefited, and this will help us to go to a larger segment of the customers. because just with an application, a mobile application, it would be a lot of hard work and the marketing cost will be involved. So we are targeting the B2B segment also. The second is like we will be getting a revenue per order, like from the airport shopping and the airlines ancillary. And what we have figured out, like out of like based on all these three things, the average like revenue we will be generating in global market would be around 0.4 to $1, and in India, if we talk about, it would be around 0.1 to $0.7. So yeah, that's our revenue model as of now. But in future, we will be having a very important data which we can monetize, and we are like rigorously like exploring how we can.
Deepak, when are you ready to do your first transaction?
Sorry?
When will be your first transaction?
So we are like expecting first transaction to be start from January 2021.
Okay.
Have you Deepak integrated with the airport's check-in system, something on the CETA or airing system which airports use?
Yeah. So for that, we are collaborating with the airport. So again, over here, at first we thought of directly partnering with the CETA, but again, if we partner with CETA, we need to like to partner with the airport individually. So right now we are partnering with the airport, and once we are partnering with the airport, so every like the DCS system basically, which takes care of all these things, we will be integrating with the DCS system, and the complete airport will be onboarded with us.
No, so
we are going
do you know the cost of integration with CETA or airport DCS system?
So it's an API, like API is required, and the API is already.
They don't give APIs, Deepak.
Sorry?
They don't give APIs. Do you know the cost of that?
No, the APIs we will be in like developing by ourselves, and we are developing that. Like, we have developed the software.
CETA don't give APIs, Deepak. That's what I'm saying. Do you know the cost also of that? How much time and cost it takes
to integrate with the DCS?
Yes.
So we're exploring that aspect as of now.
Okay. You find that out. So you're far away from the January stuff.
Yeah, Deepak, we done?
Yeah. Thank
you. Okay, thank you. And let's have Suraj, travel spends. Or Globe Stays India Private. Suraj, you ready to roll?
Yeah, am I audible now? I'm sharing my screen. Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, it is. Go on.
Okay, sure. So fundamentally, thank you. It's indeed a privilege to be on this Startup Accelerator program for FICCI, and we are Travel Spends. My name is Suraj Nair. I'm the co-founder of Travel Spends, and we play in the space of business travel, and it is one of the most impacted industry in terms of travel is an impacted industry, and business travel has been impacted a lot more. So your data, our savings, our insights and your savings is the pitch that we make to an enterprise. And we have created a product called Tripnomics, which we call as the economics of a trip. And we personify to the enterprise a catch line, which is your savings is our business. Fundamentally, we are working on travel cost optimization. That's the core on which we are working. So all of us know that airfares and hotel rates are very opaque. So there is with unbundling, with ancillary services, it is very difficult for enterprises who kind of contract with airlines and hotels to kind of manage that. And the characteristic of a corporate or enterprise travel is that they have multiple mandated contracts. They need to operate within those contracts. Their flexibility and preferences of employees work within those contracts. So employees don't have the flexibility to book their own travel or choose their own hotels. We have worked with Fortune 500 companies. We have helped them identify and delivered savings. We've done both. And over $22.5 million is what we have saved, identified for them. In terms of savings, that number is lesser because all of what we identified doesn't materialize. But we have a really high hit rate in terms of materialization whenever we have a action-oriented audit. And we have an MOU with KPMG where we do the last mile connect on travel for analytics. So that's a brief about travel spends. Our key differentiator is that we are neutral. We do not do fulfillment for enterprises. We work with an enterprise to not only identify the opportunity, we also work with them on execution. And that's a key differentiator for travel spend. So we bring down the cost per trip of an enterprise. What is the problem that we are solving? We are looking at a global industry which is 1.3 trillion pre-COVID, which is going to fall significantly, but it's also going to bring in volatility, which means our products and services are going to be sought after. India is a fast growing market at 37 billion US dollars. There is no organized player who operates in this space. And that's where we believe that we can build a product of scale which can cover the globe. Right? In terms of competition, what we see is that around the world, in terms of spend analytics, the big four play the space. We have real-time audit or analytics, which is done by Topaz, which is the largest organized player out of the US. They don't operate significantly in this part of the world. Fare drop tracking, we have Yapta, TripBam, which are products which offer that. And we have unorganized players who work in the refund reconciliation. So what we pride ourselves is the fact that we take care of the entire life cycle of a transaction from the time that money is spent till the time the money is burnt. And that's some a key kind of differentiator we bring to the marketplace. Our core product is called Tripnomics. And what Tripnomics does is that it takes care of the life cycle of the transaction as we spoke. So we do real-time validation of what is sold by the TMC. And I will in a minute tell you how we do that process. After the validation, until the date of travel or the stay, we check if the rate drops, either at the same property or at an alternate property which is contracted by the enterprise. And after that, we check if the money has been burnt, especially in terms of airlines, whether that particular ticket has been flown or it is unutilized. And then the corporate gets the value back from the travel company or from the airline. And that's the core of what we offer in the marketplace. So why is it an essential element for an enterprise? CFOs around the world are figuring out how to kind of control the largest controllable cost in their P&L, right? So infrastructure, they've optimized salaries, but travel is something that they're still figuring out how to optimize. And they don't do an internal audit of their functions because they don't believe in their employees. They do it to just check the health of the process. Similarly, a travel transaction, we believe, needs to be validated to make sure that the transaction has been sold optimally and you are spending the right amount of cost for that travel. How do we do this? We have a recommendation engine. The recommendation engine takes into account a brief questionnaire that we publish to the enterprise and to the TMC. And once we get the inputs, we know what is the minimum connecting time, what is the transit time that's okay, within what window can we offer either the same airline or the alternate airline, what should be the differential in cost if we offer it. So everything that the enterprise has in their travel policy, we mirror it onto Tripnomics. And once Tripnomics get that input, we bridge our systems to that of the travel company with the blessings of the enterprise. And that's what gives us the raw input to kind of process. And over a period of time, we churn out, we do the checks on the GDS, which is Travelport, Amadeus, Sabre, and then we kind of churn out the data, which goes back to the TMC with a copy to the enterprise. This we kind of report through a SaaS model, and I will show you a brief preview of it before we close our conversation. In terms of the workflow process, that's how it works. An enterprise raises a request. The request flows into the travel company. A PNR is created, and it is then queued on to Travel Spends. Travel Spends does the check. If we find something cheaper, we queue it back. If we don't, it goes on to a database for the next check, which is a fare drop or a rate drop on the hotel side. If we find something, we again push it back. And then the TMC is able to reissue that particular ticket and take the savings onto the P&L. So what we pride ourselves is in the fact that we work on realized savings versus missed savings opportunities. And the biggest differentiator that we bring is we don't compete with the travel company. So they don't have a threat from us in terms of us replacing them. So these are some key elements of Tripnomics. And as I said, we do validation, which is the first part. Second part is the reshopping, and the third part is the reconciliation. And in these three parts, the highest opportunity is for an enterprise works in terms of the real-time validation. So they have, say, 6 different contracted carriers. Now, the TMC has given them some option. Even on an online booking tool, there is some content which is not showing up because APIs have changed. Airlines have filed fares which are not reflecting it on ATPCO. So there are different things that actually kind of create these gaps. Okay, you're not on the latest API of a GDS. So and then once we have identified this gap, we work with their travel provider to plug that gap and also make sure that the savings is realized. And any volatility in the system actually helps us. So the travel ecosystem, the more volatility it has, it is better for people like us, because our business really starts delivering bigger results to enterprises. And the refund part I have already explained to you. In terms of what we have achieved, we have worked around the globe. It's a made in India product. We pride ourselves in that, and I think we can further the landscape of where we operate. We have worked in South Africa, Dubai. We've done some amount of work in Chengdu, though we don't have Travel Sky as an access, but it was more of an analytics and insights that we delivered there. We've worked in Australia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore. These are countries that we have worked, and we've worked with the who's who in the industry. That's the list of customer base that we have worked with. So we have one-time projects, we have ongoing projects, we have limited period projects, like a quarter every year we validate. So some of those customers have been working with us in every year of what we have existed. We got our first customer end of 15, and then from then on, we've been building our value proposition in the space. So it's a good mix of customers. If you look at it, pharma, we have shipping, we have IT, ITES, we have manufacturing. So we have a good mix of customers who actually value our products and services. In terms of briefly giving you an overview, it's a SaaS-based product. We do use a combination of mind and technology. The reason we do that is on complicated itineraries, which even OTAs are struggling to give out fares, we do a system check, and then the human mind validates it. Whatever the human mind validates and we find gaps, we plug it in. And that's our way of learning from the system and churning back into the technology, so that we are able to kind of deliver that value. We work around the three parts of the PNR that I spoke. We have a strong team that is backed by aviation and corporate hospitality and industry professionals. The global market is our play. It's a huge space that we are trying to kind of chip away at. And our revenue model is that we say that our cost will not exceed 1% of the travel spend of the enterprise. So we worked on fixed models. We worked on fixed plus variable models. It depends on how the customer wants to construct that. And that's the brief on the team. Girish, who's the other co-founder, is based out of Mumbai. Kannan is based out of Chennai. And Girish was the chief commercial officer of GoAir. Kannan has huge amount of experience in travel technology. He was heading Thomas Cook at some point in time in terms of the travel technology. And that's the image of our team, which is a lively team. And we are based out of Bangalore, and we are passionate about what we do. And I'm just going to take a minute now to kind of just show you some of the screens. Please let me know if the screens are visible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's the way a client sees the information. So every transaction is reported back to the client. So in this particular case, for example, Singapore Airlines, there is a saving that we have identified. 65,000 was the original issued fare. And the second screen shows you the breakdown of what was issued on the left side and what's kind of given as an alternate on the right side, and what's the savings that this transaction has been identified with. The TMC reported this as the lowest fare at the point of sale. And that's what we... Yeah.
Your presentation is showing up. The other screen is not showing up.
Sure. Okay, just give me a second. Thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, now can you see the screen, please?
Yes, it's come up.
Sure, thank you. So, so this is how the client sees the screen, and the TMC is given this access so that they can see every transaction real time of what we have analyzed. And we can see Singapore Airlines offers a fair opportunity in terms of a fare drop that we identified on the same airline at the same point in time. So the advantage is you could void these tickets at 300 rupees and reissue tickets. Some airlines have imposed controls, but even those controls don't apply on corporate fares, which is what mostly enterprises use. So the savings can actually be realized by the enterprise, and then they get a whole set of analytics around it, which you can see, saying that which airline is giving them the maximum savings, which routes are giving them the maximum savings, and then who are their top travelers, whether it's a one-way or a round trip and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's a brief about it. I think I'm good on time. We have kind of showcased what we wanted to talk today about.
Thank you, Suraj. Jury, please, questions?
Yeah, Suraj, I have a few questions. First off, when I think about the model you have, is this very similar to a company called Tripbomb? Would you Would you say?
Yeah. So if you looked at my second slide, which I will just beam it back for your reference. So we did cover TripBAM as one of the components of what we do. So this is your slide on TripBAM. Can you see the slide?
No.
No.
Okay, just give me a second.
And while you were at it, I was wondering, what's the sort of ARR pre-COVID?
Yeah, so the ARR pre-COVID is the largest saving in a quarter that we've identified for an enterprise is around $28,000 on a combination of hotel and air, which is realized on a spend value which is roughly about $500,000. Yeah, so TAPTA and TripBAM do parts of what we do. They do fare drop tracking. So they don't look at the reason codes, which the TMC files. They look at the transaction, and the model of YAPTA on airlines and TripBAM on hotels works without corporate fare access. So they don't look at the corporate fares. They're looking at retail fares. And that's the model. They're playing a B2C space largely. B2B is restricted to giving that support to travel companies largely, whereas we work with the enterprises. And as I said, it's a part of what we do. Our biggest opportunity, which I spoke to you about, is when we look at the savings at the time of the transaction and validate it, which is not what TripBAM does with the reason codes. So that's the highest opportunity. The second part, which is a medium opportunity, is what's currently getting mined there. And we focus completely on the enterprise business, to your question.
Suraj, I didn't get the point on ARR pre-COVID. You were referring to maybe a specific project. I'm just
so about 3 to 4%. So as I said, 1% is the fee that we charge. About 3 to 4% is what we see on an average. Well-managed corporates, it can drop to about 2%, but it's always higher than the fee that we charge, which shows the continuity of customers that we work with. Does that clarify?
Sir, as a question from my side,
Sure, please.
The way I see the business model is that your connectivity with the various different players will be more up to date than the TMC, and that's where you're showing a saving. How much will you have to invest continuously to stay on top of the TMCs, and how much will that relate to in terms of your fee structure?
So Patrick, my answer would be on two parts. One part is that the TMC revenue model is built around 60% revenue coming from airline and GDS revenues, and 30% coming from client transaction fees, right? So hence it's important for them to meet most of the parameters on airline contracts and meet different airline contracts. So which means that there could be gaps in the TMC offering without us. So our advantages would come from better machine learning, better inputs or fare caching, which data is continuously flowing through our systems. So we are continuously hitting the GDS or the airline, checking the fare, and then presenting it back for a issuance. So that's where I think our advantage is. And the focus of the TMC is largely on transaction fulfillment. And once the transaction is over, they don't go back and revisit it. And that's where I think the differential lies. So we may not have to significantly invest in upscaling because the calls are the same, you're using the same APIs, but you are mining it better. The way you're mining it, for example, you have, say, flights going into Chicago on Qatar, and from there it's American, right? And if it depends on whether you're doing a through sell, you're doing a sell until Chicago and then reselling the Americans without really flouting the rules of the airline. And that's where I think the advantages will start coming in.
And how far do you end up having conflict with the TMCs?
So the fact that we have worked with so many enterprises and worked with every large TMC in the space globally, because we have worked across global markets, I don't think initially the TMCs had skepticism, but now they see a lock-in because they see us furthering their goal of realized savings being delivered to the enterprise.
Okay.
So lastly, Suraj, to rephrase Patrick's question, in the next 2 years to stay on top of the TMC, what kind of investments you need, or you have your own accruals to be able to deal with it?
No, so we definitely, the reason we are here is because we obviously want to be associated with FICCI, and FICCI is the largest body of enterprises, right? And the fact that we are looking for funding. because like every startup, we are stretching ourselves thin during this COVID era. And we are rolling back some of the investments that otherwise you would have done. So to your question, yes, we look forward to a round of funding, a set of advisors who could kind of take this global model, truly global as we see it.
I have two questions, Suraj.
Yeah, sure.
One is, why do you call yourself as a SaaS startup? And second is, how do you manage the LCCs which are not on GDSs?
So currently we have a Travelport API that gives us access to Indigo, but Spice and GoAir is done using the Mind model. And that's why we call ourselves a tech Mind model. And that's something that we want to invest in. And those APIs are costly because we don't produce anything in terms of segments, right? So for us, everything is a cost, whether it's a GDS, whether it's a LCC integration, because we're not producing that ticket which actually triggers the revenue as a GDS solutions provider.
What about
and secondly,
what about Navitaire, directly with Navitaire first?
So Navitaire doesn't have corporate fares, Ashish, so it becomes difficult to kind of integrate. And secondly, Navitaire's costs are much more higher than working with these players individually. We have done that assessment, and Navitaire has limitations. So some content is not passed through Navitaire. So we have some challenges like that. So and in terms of the SaaS model, the fact is that we offer all our solutions on the cloud. It's available for enterprises on a real-time basis to validate their transaction, and that's why we call ourselves a SaaS-based offering.
Okay, one more question.
One more question that I have.
Pankaj, Bharti, 1 minute. Pankaj, you finish yours.
Yeah. Sure. So Travelport APIs of Indigo is giving a higher fare. Will not your model fail when you use Travelport API?
No, it does not give you a higher fare. It gives us a retail fares, but for corporate fares, we have to get it from the TMC where Indigo loads it. Otherwise, it's the same retail fare that the Travelport API gives versus what a Indigo API gives. So nowadays, if you look at it, Pankaj, they don't give you separately the Indigo API. They ask you to take the universal API and then use the Indigo component of it.
I was not aware.
Only the corporate fare, you have to send a separate call because the credentials are separate.
Bharti, over to you.
Yeah, thanks. I would like to understand your plans of integration with key travel and expense management software, because that's how most of the major corporations are managing. That is where the data is residing. So what about integrations with softwares like Concur or Expensify and Zoho Expense and all? Because you can pull out a lot of data and information from there.
Sure, Bharti. It's a very interesting question. In fact, the last week, the report that Concur brought out, they featured us as a real-time analytics provider, because a lot of clients of Concur say that a single agency doesn't really help in validating fares and hotel rates. And that's where they said that we will work with players like TravelSpends and Topaz to kind of make sure that you get visibility and transparency. So we got that pitch coming from Concur, which is a great testimony to what we're doing. And in terms of your the second part of your question, Zoho, we are in conversation with. We haven't really progressed. We've had a couple of rounds with their advisors, with a couple of their team members, but we have not really sealed any partnership. But you're absolutely right in saying that they get a lot of data, and we'll be able to churn that data and give meaningful insights, because we do point of sale data capture, which is not being done by an expense solutions provider.
Right. Thank you, Suraj. Thank you for coming in today.
I have just one question for
Arjun.
Yes, please.
Hi, Suraj.
Hi, Arjun.
Considering you raised money and good luck with that, I just want to understand what product enhancements do you have in mind?
Sure. So in terms of the product enhancements, a few things that we wanted to do is extend the value chain of this to manage payment reconciliation. So one of the biggest problems around the globe is you have CTA, BTA cards, you have corporate cards, and you have spend data coming from TMCs, and there is a dispute mechanism and stuff like that, which is completely unmanaged. Secondly, we want to improve the quality of the recommendation engine. Currently, we are not nowhere scratching on what we call as machine learning or neural learning. And even if we do, we have to work within the ambit of the travel policy. So flexibilities are low, but I think we would like to invest into those spaces. And thirdly, we'd like to start selling in the US, because a lot of global contracts gets decided in the US. So that's one additional thing that we would definitely want to do: digitally sell in the US and fulfill out of India to be truly an Indian multinational based out of India.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Thank you, Suraj. Yellow plate, Vineet Tulsian. Let's have your cab model.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ashish.
Yes.
Can I share the screen now?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Can you guys see my screen?
No, not as yet. Yeah, we can now.
Perfect. I thank you.
Your profile video, I have to delete you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can I carry on?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ashish, and everyone here for giving us the platform to present our venture named Yellow Plate. As you know, that Yellow Plate, every commercial vehicle in the country, the passenger transport or goods transport, bears yellow number plate. That's one commonality across every vehicle category. And what we are doing, we are on a mission to digitize the transportation segment. It's over $250 billion market, very fragmented, highly unorganized, and over 95% of the market is offline. If you see the problem in this market, there are four segments of stakeholders in this market. One is from the demand side, entities who rent vehicles, be it passenger or goods, vendors who supply vehicles, services segment who basically provide insurance, buying, selling, dealers, those kind of services, and the product segment. Now, checking the problem statement of for the client and the vendor side, if you see from the client side, it is very unorganized. The offline, the clients do not have effective ways to receive digital services. They're just one or two online aggregators, but given the fact that over 95% of the market is fragmented and offline, there are no effective ways, and clients, in order to get services from their vendors, they get it offline, and there are a lot of lacunas into that, but in order to get it online, they have to pay a premium. Similarly, from the vendor side, all the more COVID has been a sad story for them, and it has ensured that every vendor side has to go digital now. There are two major characteristics of this market. If you see, one, while it is very unorganized on the vendor side, it is highly networked. Vendors are highly networked at the local level. To put it simply, one vendor knows at least 20 other vendors. Now today, since they are not able to provide digital services, they are depending on online aggregators where they are paying substantial commission to them. If you see, there are no. If you see,
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
If you see, there are no digital marketplace for the vendors to source the clients to source vendors. So it's largely offline. What are we? We are on a mission to digitize millions of stakeholders. We are not only digitizing, but ensuring with the experience that we have seen, we are integrating our digital ecosystem with offline channels. And while we have the architecture that we built starting 3.5 years back, has the capability to accommodate every vehicle, because if you see, every vehicle dynamics remains the same. What changes are the vehicle category. The competitive landscape, there are no enabling platforms in this country. There are no marketplace, despite this being a necessity segment across vehicle category. There are just a few online aggregators, largely catering to the retail segment, that too in the cab market, P2P, which is hardly 5% of the car rental if you talk about, but otherwise in goods segment and other vehicle segments, there are no enabling platforms for both demand and supply, and there are no marketplaces. Same goes for services segment. The entire services market, right from insurance, buying, selling, RPO, loans, etc., for the commercial vehicle segment remains offline, and there are no enabling platforms in marketplace. What can a vendor do here? To put it simply, a vendor, irrespective of the vehicle category that he operates in, a supply stakeholder will be able to come on Yellow Plate, will be able to digitize his services, his business, will be able to provide tech-enabled services to his client base, will also be able to capitalize on his network base to bring his network under his shop and be able to expand his fleet size, and in turn also receive bookings from the vendors, the vendor will be able to send excess bookings to its vendor network. In addition to that, now that everything is digitized, the vendor will be able to go to any client and be able to offer their services at least 30% lower cost, because now this vendor does not have to pay any other bigger aggregator or bigger rental companies a 30% commission, because he is able to do so. In case he has excess bookings, he now has an option to go beyond his company or shop on the app to the larger marketplace where he can send the bookings. So essentially, a vendor will not only be able to digitize, but be able to increase his bookings, commission income, clientele base. That is what he'll be able to do without any investment. From the client side, a client will be able to receive digital services from their vendor. Not only from their vendor, they will have a large option of digital vendors to choose from via the marketplace. They can also track every vendor, every booking, or all cities on one platform. They also have an option to send excess bookings in case the vendors are not able to fulfill beyond his vendors network to the marketplace. So essentially, from the client side, client gets digital services, plethora of options of digital vendors, being able to save up to 25% cost. We are launching it phase by phase. In this segment, we launched the retail marketplace for the cab segment in May 20 on a pilot basis in Mumbai. And then we are on the verge of now finishing off our supply and demand ecosystem. And we will be launching it probably by the end of this month. The partner ecosystem, which will enable each, both the supply and the demand stakeholder, the non-retail side, to be able to digitize their business, and subsequently we'll keep on replicating for other vehicle categories. If you see, this is the customer end of it. It plays two roles. One, a retail customer will be able to come here and create a booking which will go to the marketplace. We essentially are only a enabling platform. We are not another vendors, unlike every startup which gets into the market tries to become another vendor, makes their business operation heavy, hires thousands of employees, gives discounts to onboard customers, gives incentives to onboard suppliers. What we have done by our business model, that we have eliminated every ingredient which goes towards making of a loss-making model for a startup, which is discounts to customers still via yellow plate. Customer get a discount of 20% supply. Still, they are able to increase their business. This is the partner ecosystem, which is under, at this point in time, almost 96% complete under testing phase. The driver app integrated within partners app, and the admin panel goes along with that. If you talk about what we are doing, how we are going to the market, that we are now going city-wise. In city-wise, we are appointing larger vendors as partners, and we are using their infrastructure for the retail marketplace. So we are not building our operation manpower, rather using the market's experience. Demand from the demand side, COVID has allowed us to go slow on the demand, approaching demand stakeholders as of now. But supply, we have been able to do pretty good. If you see on the left side of the screen, approximately 19 cities, we are having ongoing discussions, some close, some ongoing, with a potential of approximately 1,200 vehicles. Retail marketplace you already see here.
We need to close up, Vineet.
Yes, just 2 minutes. We began in the month of January 2017, and we began from the perspective that why every startup necessarily has to become another vendor in a market which is already filled with millions of vendors. Why do not the existing vendors have given options to digitize and increase their business? So that's when we started Idea Cabs, and we incorporated the learning. So we do approximately 22,000 bookings, approximately 5 crore rupees of turnover we did in FY19. It's a platform-based business where we charge platform fee, marketplace, bookings, commission. So this is what it's all about. FY20 COVID impacted our business, but that also launched the opportunity for Yellow Plate to accelerate its expansion. This is we are original. There is no precedence of building any such kind of model in this country. We have enabled networking.
Thank you, Vineet. Have to move on now. Okay, question, Judy. Anything, Judy?
Yeah, I have just one question. How are you tackling the different business models? Can you just put up the slide where you showed the different kind of aggregators on, can go up? Yeah, where you showed lorries, cabs, all kind of commercial vehicles, and go up, up, up. Yes, this one. This is the services, but you were showing the real one below the next slide. So everybody has a very different kind of service model when you have talking about tow truck, ambulance, tanker, trucks, and everybody has very different kind of customers, have very different kind of fulfillment strategies. How are you managing all those things in your app? That's my question. You know, it requires a different attention.
Absolutely. So if you see, so for example, if I just take a simple example of a corporate renting a cab or renting a delivery van. Now, it has different vendors for delivery van, it has different vendors for cabs, and they get the services offline. There is a contract that's between the corporate and the vendor. If you see the delivery, if the mechanism of the delivery between a cab and the delivery van remains the same. What changes is the vehicle and the price point that changes. So in our architecture, when we are building it since beginning, we ensure that we are capable, because it is very customizable between vendor and client, their clients, that they are able to customize the arrangement they have for various vehicle categories.
Okay.
So are you trying to become the ERP for your clients, you know, ERP provider kind of, for application provider for, say, somebody who's into the business of renting cranes or tractors or something?
So every vendor, the best part of this platform is that every vendor who is available on the market will be able to come here and digitize his business using our platform. So there are two things that the vendor will be able to do. One, provide digital services to the existing clients. So that's the digitized business via which he'll be able to sustain and strengthen his business. Second, be able to get new bookings and business via the platform. So from the client side, of course, we don't charge anything to the client. The client needs digital services from their vendors. And not only that, they require more digital vendor options, which they don't have today, which is leading them a cost of upwards of 35% as against taking services from regular vendors.
Right. Good. Okay. Thank you, Vineet. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. Okay. Next, we have Scout My Trip, Deepak. And going onwards, I mean, flexibility, agility is probably the virtues of all of you. So may I remind you that the buzzer will now be set off at 6 minutes and we should finish by 7, otherwise we'll never finish. And that's where your agility and flexibility comes in. Over to you, Deepak. Deepak? Scout My Trip? Are you there? Okay, let's move on to Trippier. Tia, I can see you. Can you take on? Buzzer at 6.
Yeah, thanks, Ashish.
Yep.
Let me just share my screen. Just a second. I hope you all can see my screen.
Yeah, can.
Okay. All right. So first of all, thank you for the opportunity. It's indeed a pleasure and privilege to present in front of this esteemed panel. So let me just introduce myself very briefly. My name is Tyagarajan, and I'm a co-founder of Trippier. And our focus is on corporate travel. There was a presentation just 2 presentations ago from Travel Spends. So we are in the same space as corporate travel, but our approach to the problem is completely different. So I will explain how. So our value proposition is that we aim to be the world's smartest corporate travel platform that all stakeholders love. So when we say this, what we mean is all the stakeholders, whether it is the traveler, the travel desk, or the CFO, all of them should love the platform. They should get all the value that they can get from the platform. So that is the aim with which we have started, and we've been reasonably successful so far. So I won't bore you with these statistics. Suraj covered this. It's a pretty large market globally and pretty decent sized market in India. And our focus is in the unorganized mid-market. Mid-market we define as companies that spend anywhere from, let's say, 1 crore to about 10, 20 crores a year on travel. So that is our focus of the market, because the other two markets are pretty stable when it comes to large markets. TMCs serve the market reasonably well. And when it comes to small markets, they're well served by the OTAs. So the mid-market is highly unorganized, and that's where we play a role. So when you go into this market, the mid-market of corporate travel, you see that it's completely manual. That's what we learned. And even though there is semblance of technology, pretty much everything is manual. There is very little compliance in terms of people coming online to book the tickets, very little compliance in terms of following policies and processes. And there is always chaos about who should do what and how much we are spending, whether we are spending the right amount. And there is essentially no visibility and no control when it comes to the CFO. So this is the state of the market. And we thought there should be a lot of opportunity to come and disrupt this market using technology. And technology is barely used in the space that we are in. So our vision is to take all the data that is available about the booking data, the travel request data, and everything, apply AI and RPA onto it, and make the entire experience better. Not just better, but an order of magnitude better or even more. So we aim to be the one-stop shop as far as the companies are concerned, to provide all their travel needs, from the travel request for the employees to following the traveler, to advise them on, let's say, change of schedule, and basically take care of them through the travel. And during the whole booking process, make sure the policies are implemented, make sure the company budgets are adhered to, and help the travel desk in the form of analytics and insights, and also save the money for the corporate as far as the CFO is concerned, in the form of reducing the missed savings and reducing the time it takes to book the tickets, to make changes, to approve, and also to help travelers make the right kind of choices. So that's the overall value proposition that we have. And the platform is quite comprehensive. It automates the entire process from end to end, from the time a user has a need to travel to the time the travel is completed and expenses are filed to an external system. Everything is automated, including GST compliance and everything. And to make the adoption of the software comprehensive, we have also created a bot layer. So most of the users are used to getting their travel booked using email. So we have an email bot which takes care of that booking for you as well. So you can either log into our portal or use email to get your tickets booked. And tickets will come to you thanks to the NLP and technology behind the scenes. And whichever channels you use, it'll go through the same set of policies and compliances and governance to make sure that everything is adhered to. And all these things are integrated with your corporate systems like HRMS, finance systems, and so on. So there is no need to maintain a separate directory and separate set of policies and so on. And when the whole system is running, we do comprehensive analytics, not only on the travel data, but also on the user behavior, and give comprehensive insights about where you're spending money, where you're losing money, and what you need to do to optimize your spend. And not only do we recommend, we have algorithms built in the form of behavior shaping that shape the user's behavior, whether it's a traveler, a manager, or the travel desk, to make sure the bookings are done faster and the right kind of travel options are selected. So the platform has a lot of intelligence in the form of a bot, behavior shaping, automated approvals, seamless processes, fair predict algorithms, and so on. And net, it saves enormous amount of money for the corporates. So net, it makes the travelers happy. It makes the CFOs happy in the form of savings, and it makes the travel admins happy in the form of taking care of all the compliances without the travel admin having to be involved in each of the transactions. So we have demonstrated savings for companies. We've demonstrated efficiency improvement for companies. And our business model comes from earnings through the service providers, since we fulfill all the transactions, as well as from transaction fees or SaaS fee from customers. We are experimenting with both business models from corporate customers. And we believe we stand out in the market in the form of complete automation, the efficiency that we bring into the table, and also the realistic savings that we bring to the corporates. So here are a couple of success stories. A large e-commerce firm, which is our customer, we have shown that we can save missed savings by 76% thanks to our innovative and patent pending behavior shaping algorithm. Right? And similarly, for a logistics company, we have deployed the bot and shown that the process efficiency can be improved tremendously by showing 180% faster response to all their emails since they were using the bot. So where we stand today is we have 50 plus customers. Our MRR is about 25 lakhs, ARR is about 3 crores, and we have name brand customers to fulfill hundreds of thousands of transactions that we have done. We have marquee investors and an experienced executive team that is delivering this. And at this time, we are looking for a bridge financing thanks to the impact of COVID to take our business forward. So that's all I had. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Yeah, hi, it's Patrick here. In a market that, as you said, is totally unorganized, how are you going to drive adoption when a lot of the people within those companies are very personal and don't want to use automation?
Yeah, excellent question. So what we are showing is that the personal touch that a travel agent provides can be done even better with technology. And the technology gives you that 24/7. You don't need to wait for that particular agent to give you that. So initially, yes, you're right. There is that resistance to change from a human agent. But once they start using the technology with the personalization that we have built in, with the behavior shaping that we have built in, and all the analytics and compliance that we bring to the table, the company switches over pretty quickly.
Thanks, Tia. Thank you for coming in today.
All right, thanks a lot.
I appreciate it. Deepak, you had disappeared. We called you earlier. Scout My Trip. Are you there this time?
Yes, I'm very much there.
Okay, here you have your 6 minutes now.
Hi, am I visible right now?
Yeah.
All right.
Go on. Can
Let
see
me
you.
just share my screen very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, what's happening, Deepak?
The content doesn't seem to be sharing. I don't know what's.
Can you do it verbally then if you have a problem with
Sure,
sharing?
let me just
go ahead.
Let me just do it verbally.
Yeah.
Let me just do it verbally. All right. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving us the opportunity to come and present to you. My name is Deepak Anand. I think I'm the third Deepak to present to you. But what we brought to you in terms of a startup is something called Scout My Trip. So Scout My Trip is a travel itinerary planner. It's a travel tech. It's a startup that's been in function for the last 4 years. We started in 2016, and it fuses technology with the human network to kind of help you travel and discover the countryside a little bit better. How we plan to do that is what I would like to take you through. Let me just touch upon what we perceive to be the industry problem and what's how we are trying to better that. So a study by BCG and Google once in 2018 kind of told us that there are approximately 3 billion hours that is spent by Indians for planning their trips. Even with this, there are multiple touch points that people, you yourself would have so many places that you would go and do research about websites. You'll talk to OTAs, you'll have Google Maps to chart out routes. You'll go to blogs, you'll go to forums, you'll go to many other, touch points to kind of find out details. And finally, you'll also go and talk to your family and friends to understand whether you've taken the right decision or not. With all this, you still are not very sure whether you're going to kind of get what you see and what you actually want. You're going to be able to get exactly that when you travel. Even if you manage to do all this and you travel, you're just looking at a destination-based holiday. You're looking at going to Agra, looking at the Taj Mahal and coming back, as an example. What we want to do and what we want to do using our product and our solution is very simple. We want to help you plan a trip. How do you do that? You log on to www.scoutmytrip.com. All you need to do is put a from and a to in that on the website. It could be any two places in the country. It could be any two pin codes. It is literally, if it's available on Google Maps, it's available on the platform. What the system will then do is it will help you arrive at an itinerary by asking you very simple wizard-like questions. Things like, are you traveling by flight? Are you traveling by train? Are you traveling by bus? Or are you taking your own vehicle? Or if you're doing multiples of these, it'll allow you to input these details. Once you're traveling by road, it'll ask you things like what's the different routes that are available for you to kind of choose from. It'll tell you which are the restaurants that you can kind of stop, depending upon who your travel partners are, what's the age of the people. It'll tell you which are the toilets that are there available on the highway. If you're an avid road traveler, you'll know how important that is. It'll tell you which are the hotels that are available, how you can book these hotels. And most importantly, I think according to me, one of the most important things is it'll help you discover a little bit more when you're traveling to a particular destination. For example, if you're traveling from Delhi to, say, Nainital, rather than just going and hitting straight across Nainital, is there something else that you'd be able to kind of experience while you're traveling there? Is there a unique food experience? Or is there a waterfall that you can kind of experience before you go on to the end destination? This is something that the system will be able to prompt you and let you know and plan better. We do this two ways. We've got a huge database of places already fed into the system, and this is something that we have mined over the last 5 years and have data sources from various parts and various aggregators. We also have the human angle over here. We have in our system something called scouts. These are locals, travel experts who are present at the local destination or at the location where you're planning your travel. You can hire the scout who will further fine-tune your holiday according to the request that you have. And the third leg would be the fulfillment portion of it, which is, we will connect you with travel agents or with hotels or with homestays that are there at the location, and they'll be able to bid for your business and get you the best deal that you'll be able to kind of fulfill with. So it's a win-win situation for all, for the customer as well as the locals and the homestays and the hotels that are there today. We are a freemium model. Our revenue model is twofold. We have commission-based models on all bookings. It's not mandatory that you need to book your hotels or your vehicles or any of the services through us. We will give you a comparison of what's available in the market. In that sense, we are a marketplace. We also have a revenue sharing model with the Scout, which is on the Scout fees, which is for planning your trip. there is a certain amount that is charged by us, and that's revenue shared with the scout by giving him a portion of this for the services that he is also rendering. Over the last 4 years, we've been doing business. We got our first round of funding in 2017, early 2017. May 2017, we started becoming operationally sustainable by ourselves. Over the last 1 year, and I end the year in March 2020 for the obvious COVID reasons. We were averaging $30,000, approximately 23 to 25 lakhs on a monthly basis. 1 year before that, we had done this on a monthly basis. We had approximately 300 scouts that were hired on a monthly basis on our system. We have 150 scouts already actively tied up, which if you look at the number of states that we have in our country, it's typically 3 to 5 scouts per state. So it's pretty much covering the entire length and the breadth of the country. We had customers who would come and plan their own trips. There were 1,500, 1,600 odd trips that were planned on a monthly basis by customers themselves. This is without using the scout services. An active base of around 18,000 customers and a total base of around 38,000 customers that are there in our system. Over the last 7 months, from March onwards, of course, there's been a huge drop in the number of in the revenue itself. But the good thing is that in the last 1 month, we have started getting inquiries back again. Our first subscription model closed 4 days ago, and there's a gentleman who's planned and who's executing his first family trip starting from the day after tomorrow. So it's good news for us in that sense, and travel is picking up in that sense.
Right.
So amongst us, one common thing that we've had in the core team and the startup team is that all of us have been avid travelers. Vineet Rajan, who's my co-founder, has been a serial entrepreneur. His earlier entrepreneurship was with a company called Indie Blogger, which was the world's largest blogging community for Indian bloggers. My CTO, Neeraj Sinha, has been working as a project head for large multinational for over 20 years in companies like Sopra Steria. And I have a lot of corporate experience. I work with Tata Communications. I work with Verifone in senior management roles. And all three of us have had more than 15 to 20 years of travel experience. And we are more proud of that rather than the corporate and the that we have had. We have been heavily awarded. We are the National Entrepreneurship Award winner last year in 2019. FICCI recognized us, in fact, in 2017 as one of the top 20 travel tech startups. And we have been incubated under Maharashtra State Innovation Society also as one of the leading startups. We have competition in the market. There are plenty of players, but what we really score with is that we have the human as well as the technology arm. There is a lot of AI involved in the process of planning a trip, but we also use HI, which is a human intelligence, to kind of mesh both these together and give you the experience that you kind of really want. That's all that I have to talk about. Any questions that you might have, I'd like to take them.
Thank you, Deepak. Judy? Any questions?
I'm really sorry about the presentation.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Patrick?
Deepak, a question from me. Of the 30,000, how much came from the AI and the onward booking with the tourist providers, and how much came from your interaction with the scouts?
So 38,000 is the total number of users that we have in our system. So we have typically 300 trips on a monthly basis that are planned by scouts. So the marketing and the customer acquisition is done in a common factor. So we do the marketing and customer acquisition from our side, and we pass on the deals to the scouts on the platform itself. So ours is like a marketplace where we collect the user details, we collect the inquiry forms from the customer itself, and then we assign it to a local scout who's available and able to satisfy depending upon certain criteria that we take from the customer itself. Right. So 1/3 is through scouts, and the rest of them happens to come from social media or self-planned trips by the customers themselves. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So thank you again. And can we have the train man, Vineet?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, go ahead. All yours. 6 minutes starting now. I'm sure you'll get the Indian trains to run faster. Go on.
Sure, sir. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are Train Man, and we make train travel easy. I'll present a brief summary here. It is a big opportunity because Indian Railways sees an annual ridership of 8 billion annual train travelers. We have a very innovative product. We have waitlist confirmation chances. We have live train tracking. We have train ticket booking. So everything related to railways. We have massive traction. So we are talking about 4 million monthly active users on TrainMan. And in last fiscal year, we have sold train tickets worth $5 million with a 57% repeat purchase. We are a strong team of IITians. I'm from IIT Roorkee. And we are recognized as startup by DIP Government of India. We are bootstrapped and running profitable. So I'll walk you through the problem here. Now, if you travel by train, if you want to book your ticket, you'll most likely get a waitlisted ticket. With waitlisted ticket, you have no clue what to do. Will it get confirmed? Should you book bus or flight, or should you cancel your trip? So passenger is in a dilemma on getting waitlisted ticket. Other problem is that even if my ticket doesn't get confirmed, I have to cancel my trip, but I have to shell out additional cancellation charges from my pocket. So I also have monetary loss there. Second problem is that train ticket booking is not easy. We all have used IRCTC website. So we all know the booking experience there. It's very likely that you are booking ticket, you have done payment, and then nothing happens. So we all know it's a nightmare, and we can't even think about booking ticket offline. Who goes and book ticket offline? So ticket booking flow is definitely difficult. And the train tracking, well, trains run with a huge delay. I have myself seen in trains which are delayed by more than 24 hours. People are confused whether this train is from yesterday or it's today's train. And people want to know the accurate train status. So these are the problems faced by people, and we are providing solution to them. So we have built an waitlist prediction engine. We are doing some actual use of machine learning here. Our engine is trained over 100 million train trips, and it can tell with 92% accuracy the confirmation chance of waitlist ticket. Our ticket booking is easy and fast. It's one can book ticket in under 45 seconds. We have quick customer support, and our train tracking is what you will not find in official Indian Railways site because it works offline. When a person is traveling inside train and using TrainMan app, even if net connectivity is not there, even if GPS is switched off, he'll get to know the exact train status because we use cell towers for triangulation and telling exactly where the user is, which is very useful given the net connectivity is intermittent while traveling inside train. We are doing some real use of innovation here. So some basic things about our product. One can search for train between stations. You can get a list of trains, all the information like seat availability, fare is there on the screen. One can book train ticket. We have a seamless booking experience. We are official IRCTC partner for train ticket booking. And for train status, we have very accurate live train status, which works inside train. So our product is available via mobile apps for Android and iOS, and we have a website. Let's see the market size here. Well, total train ticketing is a $7 billion market with reserve train ticketing, which comprises the major $6 billion market. And 2/3 of it is currently online. The rest is offline. But we are hopeful that in coming 2 to 3 years, this gap will bridge in. The 33% offline will bridge to maybe 10%. What is our user base? So we have over 6 million app downloads on Android. And the iOS usage is quite less. It's 98% Android, 2% iOS, given our segment and given its Indian market. We have 3 million monthly active users on site. So 3 million people visit us every month, with 90% people coming from mobile side. And we have 1 million monthly active users on apps. We sell around 30,000 tickets monthly with a 57% repeat purchase. This is our business model. So user checks train info. we earn advertisement revenue. User books train ticket, we earn a commission on train ticket booking. And user searches flights, orders food, we get a referral earning over here. So as of now, the split is that we get more than 50% of revenue from commission on train ticket booking, while close to 40% is contributed by advertisement. These are our competitors. So feature-wise, we are a superset of every one of them. We have waitlist prediction, we have crowdsourced train tracking, we have platform number and coach position, we have food ordering inside train, we have a travel forum, and we have train ticket booking. The advantages to us, well, we are the pioneer. So we started this waitlist confirmation thing in India. We are the first one to build this. Even IRCTC and Railways, they called us to know how we have done it. So we are the pioneer for this. We have a feature-rich app, like I discussed in previous slide. We have a great passionate trains. I personally have excellent domain knowledge about trains. I have been traveling in trains since my childhood, and I know inside out. We are lean and focused team. So I'll talk briefly about revenue and growth. We have 4.5 million users which used our app in 1 year. In last fiscal year, 28 million users used site. We have a ticketing revenue of 40 crore rupees with a net profit of 36 lakh rupees in last fiscal year. This is our growth plan. We intend to do UGC and ticket booking on site, which we don't have, which will further at least double our train ticket booking. And there's one thing called multimodal transport, which is next in our pipeline.
Good.
Privatization of railways is there. It's a very historical move. It will provide great opportunity for us, great acquisition potential there. This is the team. I am the co-founder and CEO. I have done my BTech and MTech in IIT Roorkee. Karan, my other co-founder, is also from IIT Roorkee. We have received a lot of media coverage in all the leading newspapers. Thank you. We are contributing to government's Make in India and self-reliant India.
Thank you, Vineet. Jury?
Hi, Vineet. What do you do that Paytm, Ixigo, and Make My Trip don't do?
So our layer runs over the IRCTC layer. So there are multiple ways where we can provide value-added services. So one of them is like waitlist prediction, which we have. Paytm also has it, but Make My Trip Cleartrip doesn't have it. Then, like I told you, the train tracking thing, the train tracking inside train, which should work without net connectivity. So these features are not there with Ixigo, neither with Paytm, nor with Make My Trip. So we are solely focused on train, and that is our name is Train Man. So that is what I think gives us an edge on innovating in railways.
What is your user acquisition cost here?
So 80% is organic. So like in 3 million out of 3 million monthly active user, 80% is organic. In website, in fact, everything is organic. For app, it's we spend like we get a user for ₹3, as low as ₹3. Yeah, we use Google AdWords for that. And we get like 4,000 app downloads per day. I'm talking about pre-COVID era. In 4,000 app downloads, we get around like 1,500 paid. We run campaigns and rest organic.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Vineet, we hope the government of India and the railways will automate more so that everybody is, I mean, today, just 10% automation is hardly acceptable levels.
Right, sir.
Right. Okay, so Saket and Trip Clues. Saket?
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
Ashish.
Go on.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Thank you. Thanks for your time. So basically, Triploos is an online hospitality marketplace which brings independent unrated hotels online and helps them acquire customers online. So basically, when we look at the Indian hotel industry, there are around 75,000 hotels which lies in the independent and unrated category, and they constitute 80% of the market. And in fact, these hotels are highly unequipped digitally and are highly unequipped to acquire customers online. So they mostly rely on OTAs and online aggregators to get the customers online, which is moving forward is the need of the time, and I think they will be left behind if they don't do that. And pre-COVID, they were already struggling, and now post-COVID, it is going to be more mandatory for everyone to adopt technology and go digital. So despite the fact that they are the ones who constitute 70% of the market, means like they serve 70% of the customer in the market, and despite the fact that the OTAs on which mostly they rely on, out of the 300 million customer use, 300 million internet users who are searching for hotels online, 60% gets bounced off. They don't book through these people. So there is a huge market space wherein they can build their areas where they can directly acquire customers online. But again, talking about digital transformation, it may sound easy, but it is a very complex and constant area where you need to do constant research and innovations so that you stay ahead in the competition and keep yourself in place so that you drive the right ROI from the digital initiatives and all those things. So yes, we can understand why hotels are not doing it themselves, because the kind of ROI to be derived is not easy. So what Triplus brings in on the table is it provides them state-of-the-art digitalization service. Means like they give the complete digital transformation to the hotels which comes to their platform, and they get without even investing in all those kind of things like SEO or digital marketing or paid campaigns or anything. And Triplus does almost everything for that, because we keep our platform ticking in the market so that more and more customers keeps coming to us. So what it does is basically it helps them to avoid the cost associated with that. At the same time, they are and to remain technically competitive and drive the right ROI from the digital initiatives. Similarly, what happens is what it gives to the customer is it helps the customer. So there are, if you look at the market and the Google survey, so the major area of concern for most of the online traveler is they kind of feel distrust, so they don't have trust. And that's the reason why this 160 million users don't book online. And second thing is they think that they can get better pricing from the hotel. So when we realizing the need for the ecosystem, when we created an ecosystem where these 75,000 hotels can come online, and these bouncing off customers can come online together, it creates an ecosystem where the customer's concern for trust is taken care of. And at the same time, when there are stakeholders are straight away in front of them and are represented directly, so the customization level increases to a huge extent, and the tailoring can be done at a level where it can suit everyone's bill. So what it brings together is it brings together an strong omni-channel. It creates an omni-channel where there is multiple touch points. So hotel becomes the offline, and the online customers comes together. So the whole online and offline of the hotel industry comes together to create a power shop. So our business model is like currently there are two ways. One is representation model, where when we provide the booking and everything, then we charge the commission. If the hotel decides to subscribe, then the customer is directly forwarded or patched into the hotel, and they can convert those customers directly. What happens is with this kind of model, it makes it very easy for the customer to trust, and the overall drop-off rate goes down very down. So if we look at Make My Trip, they have 25% conversion ratio, and if you look at the direct conversion ratios, it jumps up to 40%. So that kind of a thing is there. So pre-COVID, we were doing almost a 1 CR kind of revenue per month, and 1 CR turnover per month, and we were close to by March 2019 we did 1.5 CR of gross revenues in terms of margins, and we were able to provide we were getting a traction of around 1.5 lakhs visitors per month, and out of that we used to get 6,000 leads for specific hotels and their needs. We actually started in 2014, and then we converted into a private limited in 2016. The whole idea is to to reach out to all those 75,000 hotels. Currently, we are 1,400 hotels are working directly with us across 72 cities across India. And then there are 5,000 hotels which have worked at least once with us, but we want to increase our footprint to at least 14,000 plus hotels. And we want to work on both subscription and the representation model, where we also provide them the service if they want support, sales support kind of a thing for that. Basically, we are two founders. One is Alok Upadhyay, who is a serial entrepreneur. He has founded companies before and worked with a lot of like DBY, which was acquired by Kelton Tech. I come from industry, technology industry, where I have worked for 15 years in industry. So that's pretty much from my side. Do you have any questions?
I think, yeah, we're done. Judy has a question. Does the jury have a question?
Yes, I'll ask one question to Saket. Saket, do you have a saving over the using of the OTAs for this same service?
I didn't get you. What do you mean by when you say
so for your hotel user base, what kind of saving do you present to your hotels than using the same services via the OTAs?
Yeah, so basically when the OTAs they charge around 25-30% commission, wherein in our model they can they can use for they can go for a fixed charge, wherein they have to hardly spend 2 to 3% of their gross revenue which they are going to earn from our services. So in fact we give them a free 15-day lookup period wherein you can earn your revenues and then you can start paying us. And the least we work with 5 to 10% of commission, depending upon what kind of services you're requiring. If you're taking for customer support, executive support, then we charge around 10%.
Okay, thank you.
Right, shall we move on to the last of the day? Sanjay at Varotech.
Thank you, Ashish.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen real quick.
Everybody thinks hotels have the biggest problem.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got 3 minutes late than the plan, so I'll rush into my presentation. Good evening, everyone. This is Sanjay Ghare, co-founder of Varotech. And here to talk about our vision of organizing world's accommodation data. Before getting into our vision, let me talk about the problems which are faced by today's customer while booking the hotel room. And you would have heard about this one. Someone books a hotel and gets a shock by reaching at counter for check-in that hotel doesn't have your reservation. Amazing property with beautiful rooms are not getting sold on the OTAs because of the poor content and the poor images shown on these travel agency websites, potential loss of sale for travel agency. And of course, in the buying decision, rates is the most important thing. And despite of the fact the lowest rate is coming from one of the supplier is not shown and available for customer to book on the travel agency website, is again a potential loss of an opportunity for a travel agency. This one is again very common. The same hotel is listed on the website multiple times with different fares, which again is adding a confusion for customers and again potential loss of an opportunity for travel agency. Then this is really interesting. Look at this resort, and there are more than 100 rooms available and for customer to choose from on a travel agency website, whereas the reality is this hotel has only 4 kind of rooms. Look at the kind of confusion and the experience after showing 100 rooms when the actual rooms are 4. Again, a potential loss of an opportunity for travel agency. So let's understand why all of these problems really occur. As I said earlier, rate is the most important factor in the decision making when customer is buying from a travel agency website. And to make sure that they are offering best rates to their customer, every travel agency connects to multiple suppliers to source the rates. And in the process, they end up in getting the same hotel, same room, same rates multiple times. And they have to map all of those to make sure their hotel listing and room listing is unique on their agency website. And this process of mapping is the problem which introduces all the problems we talked about. Why this is a really a big problem, and there are multiple reasons to that, but I'll talk about the key one. First of all, the size of data. Given every travel agency connects with so many suppliers, in an average, every hotel has 30 to 40 copies of content. And that is again a different hotel content from different supplier for the same hotel. And on top of that, this content keep changing. And this was not enough. Some of the suppliers did a standardization. So a hotel room with name Jupiter is changed to a room standard. So then there is a lack, I will say, a loss of information in the ecosystem. So all of this adds to the problem. Without delaying, introducing Unica, which helps you to deduplicate hotels and rooms while working with multi suppliers, built using large scale aggregation, AI based processing, and ever evolving ML models. So for the sake of this discussion, Unica helps travel agencies to map the hotels and rooms coming from multiple hotel suppliers. Unica helps you to create a master list of unique hotels. Unica helps you to automate the content update process with your suppliers. Unica help you to standardize the content like amenities, property type, hotel brand information, and so on. And on top of all of this, when different suppliers are giving different content for the same hotel, Unica gives you the correct content, which we call as opinionated content, like hotel name, star rating, brand information, geocode, address, star rating, and so on. So is this a new problem? No, it's really a old problem. Then are there solutions exist in the market? Yes, there are solutions exist. Some of them are even more than a 10-year old. Then what sets Unica apart from the rest? And I'll talk about the key four things here. First is being an AI based solution. It's a fully automated solution able to map more than 3 million properties in one day. And I have a very interesting example to share here. When this pandemic started, and China is the first market which recovered, some of our global customers wanted to integrate the C-Trip to get some share of that. C-Trip offering more than 1.2 million properties, we were able to map and make it available for our customers in less than 24 hours. Unica being a real-time update, any addition of a property at supplier end reflects on the travel agency website in less than 24 hours, whereas the solutions out there in the market relies on the monthly updates. Second is the best mapping percentage in the world. We are able to map more than 98% of hotels across the suppliers at this point of time, whereas the solutions in the market which are available are able to map between 65 to 85%. Third most important thing is apartments and alternate accommodation is something which is gaining popularity, and COVID is just going to add it to it. We have proper handling and support for accommodation, alternate accommodations as well, like apartments, villas, condos, and so on. Whereas the other solutions available in the market have been built mostly on the hotel centric, which fails up to large extent for apartments. And lastly, transparency is really at the core of our existence at Vervotic. So we give you a complete visibility into all the content, quality, mappings, history, and everything. This is the kind of self-service dashboard each of our customers gets an access to. So let's talk about how big is the market for mapping. Well, this market is not really well researched. So this data is created based on the interview with the top suppliers, because as I said, this problem exists because of the travel agencies working with multiple suppliers. So suppliers have the most, I would say, close data based on the number of customers they work with. So I will categorize this, customer segments into two broad categories. The first is large travel businesses with the in-house technology teams, which transforms into $172 million opportunity for hotel and room mapping in total. Whereas small to mid-sized travel businesses, which works with the travel technology companies across the globe, as an example, QTech, TravelGate X, Netstorming, and so on, which transforms into a $640 million as a mapping opportunity. So this was really about the hotel and room mapping, which we have already done with Unica. But what we are additionally doing is we are working on the content, and I'm going to keep more details about this part and going to focus on what we are doing right now in the best interest of time. So let's talk about where we are today. So we started our journey back in 2018 and we launched Unica in August 2019. And in early days, we had been focusing on the large travel businesses with in-house technology teams. We signed up 30 customers in more than 10 countries. And more than 10 customers from this list are the ones who are generating multi-billion dollar in revenues. To name some, Travel Leaders Group, which is $28 billion in the North America, is one of our largest customer. If I have to talk about India, TBO is one of our customers. So these first 30 customers had been really the large customers with in-house technology teams. Earlier this year, we were recognized as top 10 innovators by Focuswire to feature in TTE London. Last quarter, we started focusing on the small to mid-sized companies and entered into a partnership with the first company, QTech, to cater to those kind of customers. Then suppliers are the one who have access to all of these customers with the regional offices and frontline sales team. We entered into a partnership with First Supplier Hotel Beds to leverage their frontline team to redistribute the Unica. Talking about financially, for this financial year, we are looking at ARR of $428,000. Our revenue has grown by 129% since pandemic because a lot of things changed. The real-time update, faster change, and access to inventory where the markets are opening, all these things became more important than ever. Talking about way forward, of course, the first is we are going to continue scaling Unica for large and small to mid-sized businesses through partnerships with tech companies and suppliers. Secondly, we will continue investing in the new products where our goal is making sure every hotel is represented on every travel website in the world and bring the visibility to hotel ancillaries so that hotel have an opportunity of increasing the revenue for them. And lastly, we'll continue investing back, profits back in our scale and continue to grow in a bootstrapped way. I forgot to mention one thing. So we did a break even in last quarter. So that was on the finance side. Quickly talking about team. So I built a SaaS business before this inside Taviska, which was, handling a transaction volume of worth more than $2 billion. Dharmendra Ladi, again, worked in travel technology field for quite some time, and he got an exposure in AI and ML while working for oil and gas company Schlumberger. Ajit Mulani is the data scientist who analyze and organize all the data because that's the key. And Marvel Puri, he's based out of Canada because we got a lot of customers from North America market to start with. He's the voice of customers inside the organization, and he's a source of constant feedback for us. That's all I had. Yeah, and I'll be happy to take some questions now.
Yeah, Judy.
Sanjay, how much money are you looking to raise?
We are not looking to raise for money. So what we did is when we started 2 years back, we did some technology services business as well, which has generated around $700,000 in profit. So we spent $500,000 from that, back into products in the first 18 months. $200,000 are still there in the bank, and now we did a break even in the last quarter. So we are not looking for raising any money, at least for now. What we are doing is we are working on the new things, as I said, on the content side. And once we have a clarity on that, that's when we will raise money, but not in the immediate future.
What's your roadmap? What's your future roadmap in terms of products and in terms of further automation? And because I can see that you are already at a very good stage. So what's your further roadmap?
Yeah, absolutely. So first is the first product, which is which is out there and taking care of hotel mapping and room mapping. We are looking at grabbing the 10% market share in the next 3 years for that, which will take us to around $80 million in the ARR. So that's the goal which we wanted to go very aggressive. On the content side, the next thing, as I said, the goal there is to make sure every hotel is uniquely and correctly represented on the every website giving the visibility to hotel ancillaries. That is the thing, which we started, but we are actually reassessing the things, how to take that forward, because with pandemic, this, things have changed significantly now. So we are trying to understand, because the safety and security related information became important. So we are now handling that. So, being honest on the content side, we still need to give some time to really, relook at our plan, because the plans we had earlier, I don't think those are valid anymore for the future products. But again, the goal remains simple. We are targeting to, make sure at least we are able to increase the revenue of every hotel by 2%. And global travel industry being $600 billion before pandemic, of course, it would be different, but it would reach that level. So we are looking at, generating a $12 billion value for these travel businesses. But that's the thing, we have to experiment and understand the ecosystem, how it changes.
All right. So we're done, I guess. Anyone last question before we call it a day?
If you don't mind, I have
Yeah,
one
yeah.
question from the Trainman team. Can I just ask them quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know what are the online payment platforms that they are already connected on, and how they are planning to address the rural markets in India. Tier
Vineet,
towns
you are
and rural.
Yeah, that's the question for me, right?
Yeah,
No,
you're
no,
around.
no.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Trainman, Vineet.
Trainman.
Okay, sorry.
Trainman.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjay, anyway. I don't think Vineet he's, I think, moved on. Vineet, are you there? Bharti, to answer on his behalf, you need to say he's built his own platform. He's not on any platform, it's his own platform. As far as rural market is concerned, he's in the B2C space. Tomorrow, when he has money, he can do marketing even to Gurdaspur.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to
That's
understand.
He has to have money to spend. He's already told you he's spending only 3 rupees per acquisition on Google.
Yeah, which is very good, actually. I was really impressed by.
Right. So thank you. I can answer on behalf of a startup. So jury, Anirban, what's the drill from here? Can you announce it?
Yeah, so what we will do, the juries will decide who are the top 3, and after the end of today's session, which is the success stories of startup, which will be ending by 6:30 p.m. After that, we will be announcing the top 3, first, second, and third.
Okay, so 2 questions is how do the top 3 come to know at 6:30?
Yeah, so we will be in touch with them separately, and we will invite them to be a part of that Zoom.
So the top 3 will be called directly and a link will be given to them so they can join in, correct?
Yes.
All right. And as far as the jury is concerned, when does the jury meet now?
The jury meet happens within 5 minutes from now.
Okay, you have a separate login for jury?
Yes, we do have.
Okay, jury, you have that login with you? For
Yeah, we do have.
Minutes?
We do have.
Okay, so guys, well, let me end this session here now. And a big thank you to all 10 of you. And irrespective of what happens on 6:30, I can personally say from my perspective, having spoken to most of you separately, having spoken to most of you, and I obviously heard you here, that all of you have got merits in your own space. Some may have a longer way to go than the others. That's the only observation I have. Other than that, it's been a good innings. Thank you very much. And the jury will meet and decide the top 3, and there'll be a certification for that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.